Season 6, Retrospective, Par. Oh, hell yeah.
Big Rich Town. Not a fan of the intro, guys, to be perfectly honest, because it's been changed. Kanan's dead. Is that the reason they felt the need to change it? Potentially. But in all seriousness, I'm not a fan of the intro change for season 6. But hey, last season, I thought that they may as well thought, well, why not change it up? But this says season 6, episode 1. Can't believe we're already on the final season of the original Par, but looking forward to it. And let's find out if Angela's dead. She's not dead. Angela's still alive. What? No. Spoiler alert, she does die here. Quite sad scenes. I mean, Ghost doesn't really get to see her die, but we get like the final goodbye, I guess you could say, between them in the back of an ambulance. Absolutely raging. Paz comes in, accuses Ghost of being a murderer. He's getting questioned. He's like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I don't know who would do it. All this shit. So yeah, straight off the bat, Angela is dead throughout this. We've also got Tasha talking to Tommy, and Tommy's like, he made me kill my own fucking father. I'm sorry, Tasha, but if you gotta wipe me out, I had to do what I had to do. Obviously, Tasha's still annoyed that, you know, about Ghost, but she's also annoyed the fact that Tommy would kill Ghost without even speaking to her about it. But why the fuck would Tommy, right? Why would Tommy in all seriousness, if he wanted to kill Ghost, go and speak to Tasha about it? Because just realistically, what would it actually take for Tasha to green light a hit on Ghost? I don't know what it would take, man. It would be something particularly mental, but we've got all the police in here. Jerry's fuming. Him and Sax are kind of blaming each other. It just shows you at this point how many of them have died. I mean, Max left, but the rest have pretty much died. And this is what we've got here. And the woman, the lead woman, the defense attorney, she is sacked. And Sax can't believe it. He's like, this is fucking Ghost that's killed her. He's like, you don't know that. It's like, seriously, Jerry? You seriously barking up that fucking tree that it wasn't Ghost? Like, even if it's not Ghost that pulled the trigger, he's connected. You know, and it's fucking Tommy that did it. So Sax comes in, he's like, we need to do an autopsy, but Paz won't sign off on it. And Sax is like, I promise we'll get St. Patrick, but you've got to let me get this autopsy. Tommy then gives Keisha the gun. He's like, you need to throw this away. And I honestly can see Ghost killing her, and we're introduced to her son. Now, we've heard about him before, Cash. We've never seen him before, but now we've seen him. I can see Ghost killing these two, and that be like the final nail in Ghost's coffin. Like, I'm really intrigued about how they wrap all this up, but of course, knowing that there is these spin-offs, and I know for a fact Tommy's in one, right? I know that for a fact. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with Ghost, but I mean, a lot of people could die in this final season. We'll have to wait and see, but at this point, Tommy returns home. Him and Ghost get into a fight. Ghost was waiting on him. Essentially, this is a fight to the death. And I get it, they're like brothers, but at this point, it's like all gloves are off. Tommy wanted to kill Ghost, and Ghost now wants to kill Tommy. And we see at the end of the episode that Ghost is willing to kill Tommy. So, like, he got the drop on him here. Maybe you could say he wanted to beat him up man on man, you know, without weapons, but, you know, Tommy had a gun on him. He did drop it here. This could have ended with any of them, though, getting killed, to be honest. But who interferes? It's Tariq, and Ghost was getting the upper hand here. And Tariq's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then Ghost's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be in school, kid. Don't you fucking know that? Ghost's like, this ain't fucking over, Tommy. Tommy's like, yeah, and then Tariq's like, I need a minute. Turns out what Tariq wants for Tommy is that they're going to scatter Kanan's ashes. How nice of these two to do that. Sax then meets Proctor, and he's like, right, I know Ghost is the one that killed Angela because I told you that she was the witness, that we had a female witness, and you've told him, and he's the one that did it. But Sax is having to reveal himself here quite a lot because, you know, he's having to do this. We're introduced now to the new defense attorney, or whatever the name is, man. Not the district attorney, whatever. You know, the new top man. And it's the guy from, I remember him from Californication, getting some really freaky stuff done on there. Sax admits to everything. He's like, but you know what? So what if I told Proctor this? You need me, and we're going to bring them down, and we'll get St. Patrick down. And he agrees to work with Sax. But he's like, if this doesn't go work, you're going to get barred from this forever. And part of me thinks they will kill Sax, but at the same time, like, not many police officers left. Surely they would like one or two of these people to stick around for the spin-offs, but hey, maybe that's just wishful thinking. I'm not too sure. Sasha's going looking for Terry Silver, but we didn't get Terry Silver this episode. We did see Ghost choke him out in the season 5 finale, so who knows what's going on. Maybe he's dead. Tasha then confronts Ghost, and Ghost is like, ah, it's alright. It's alright, big man. And she was like, I want a divorce, so yeah. It's a tough spot here. I mean, he's like, do not feel sorry for me. I lost the woman I love, but like, he's lied to her his whole life, this entire show. So I can see why she doesn't feel particularly sorry for him, to be honest. Proctor and Ghost then confront each other. He's like, you fucking said it was Angela, but realistically, Proctor didn't get Angela killed here. You know, it's Ghost and Tommy. Tommy's the one that killed her. Regardless if Ghost went to see Angela, Tommy was going to try and kill Ghost now. Inadvertently, it's Proctor's fault, but yeah, he was trying to protect Ghost. The shipment, though, that Tommy should have received by now, he's going to have to receive it later on tonight. And then we got one of the more forced scenes of the show. I didn't like this. So Poncho stands up and he's like, well, fuck this, Tommy. Who the fuck hit you in the eye, you little karate bitch? He's like, you're nothing without Ghost. And then Tommy just shoots him. It's like, if these guys learned nothing, that Tommy will literally just kill his primaras, his henchmen, so to speak, for no reason. Like, what was Poncho expecting to happen here? At least if he's going to, like, confront Tommy, they pull out a fucking gun or something. And this guy that's been around since season 1 just gets killed like this. Like, honestly, like, killed like a fucking jobber. He's been here since, like, day 1 of this show, and that's him dead. And then Tommy appoints the new man, Roberto, and he's like, what are you going to tell your crew? He's like, well, I'll figure that out. But then the NYPD, they're now doing a joint task force, so she confronts Sax about that, which I thought was kind of funny. So yeah, Sax going to have to work with a new woman. Can't remember her name. You know, the woman that was looking into Angela last season, that woman. They confront Ghost, but Ghost does not bend. Then we get the scene, Kennan's ashes get scattered. Tommy puts a bit of the ashes on his blunt and starts smoking. He's like, hey man, they did it for Tupac. Yeah, so Kenan finally gets put to rest. Tommy then asks Tariq, what would you be like if your dad went missing? Like, yeah, what if I killed him? He's not really that bothered, Tariq, at this point, I don't think. But could there be a plan here that they're going to use Tariq to kill Ghost, especially for Tommy's side? Who knows? He finds out for Tasha, though, that Angel's dead, and he's like, damn, crazy as shit. I don't think he's even that bothered that Tommy did it, to be honest. I think he's glad she's dead. The new top man, though, goes to visit Proctor. He gives him an ultimatum, essentially, like, give it up, and he doesn't give it up. So how's that going to go down? Paz then signs the documents for the autopsy to go underway. So actually, we're going to get this son of a bitch, Angela, over her dead body. And then in comes NYPD woman. That's when we get the announcement of the joint task force. Tariq then phones his dad. And then the guy asks him after the phone call, he's just trying to build bridges. He's like, yeah, keep him close. Tommy then goes visits the Connect. He's like, I had to kill one of my top men because you wouldn't give me the shipment earlier. No, Tommy, that's just not how it went down. Tommy didn't even fucking explain to his Connect that, here, I know you need this, I know you need the drugs to move, but I'll give you it later on tonight. Because he knew it was happening tonight. I don't get this. And then, out of nowhere, in the hug, Peter takes Tommy's keys. We didn't notice at the time, but he did. And then when Tommy drives off, we think it's Tommy. Ghost opens fire and like hits like a dummy, I believe. I don't think it was actually a real person. And Tommy can't believe that Ghost would actually try and do this. Right. That's what I don't get about this. If they thought that Ghost would hit Tommy, which he did attempt to, why not kill Ghost? If you knew he would attack him here and thought he would, why not eliminate the problem? That to me is just forced. Like, completely forced. Then maybe it wasn't a dummy. It looks pretty real to me, but fuck knows, man. I just don't understand this. This seemed forced, and then the fight scene that Tommy and Ghost had earlier on seemed forced. At least that was a bit less forced than this, but if this final season is going to be centered around Tommy versus Ghost, then I think they need to do a better job of it. And the episode ends with Ghost reminiscing about his time with Angela. Quite sad, but that's what it is, guys. I thought it was a good episode, but like I said, I think there was just too much of this shit in here. And I think I think it's a 14 episode season. This, I think we need to maybe reel back a few things. But anyway, guys, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I know it may seem quite low considering what I've gave the last couple of episodes, but I think this episode is a bit hit and miss. But I'm still looking forward to this final season. So until next time, 6 out of 10. Peace. Tommy Egan returns for the dead, guys. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. We're here with another review. We have got Season 6, Episode 2, Whose Side Are You On? Ghost watches in the morning as Tommy's car is taken away, bullet holes ridden in it, blood over the windshield, blood on the floor. He thinks Tommy's dead. He thinks Tommy Egan has finally died. He thinks he's the man to kill him. He thinks this has been put to bed. Turns out this is not put to bed because Ghost is in fact brought to justice. Ghost is brought to justice. He's revealed by Peter that Tommy is dead, and he's gave the money, and essentially this is like, oh, you know what? In order to keep this wee secret quiet, Ghost, you're going to have to pay me 100 grand every couple of weeks. And he does the same with Tommy later on in the episode. Then we see Tommy. He's not dead. We knew he wasn't dead. We knew last episode he wasn't dead. He gets an Uber. Quite funny scene. Guy's like, fuck off, Eminem. Rip off. He's like, I'm going to give you a fucking negative rating, son. I thought that was quite funny. He phones Tariq. Tariq's obviously up at his school. Gets his kid his roommate brings a guy in. He's like, I want to buy this stuff off. And Tariq's like, no. Obviously, learning Kaiden's tricks of never, ever, buy and, sell and have the drugs on you. Take the money and the drugs at the same time, because that is drug dealing, isn't it, my friend? Absolutely drug dealing. Ghost goes to Proctor. He tells him, I killed Tommy. Proctor's like, well, at least I'm going to be sleepy easier at night. He's like, he's my fucking best friend, Proctor. Yeah, so what? So what if he was your best friend, Ghost? I mean, let's be real. If Tommy went, it would be better for more or less everybody, especially Proctor. I mean, Ghost is the one that killed him. Mentally, then gets served his papers that his wife wants custody of the kid, damn it. And essentially the crew, Tommy's crew, now get their drugs. And he says to them, right, you know what? Everyone has to pretend that I'm dead, essentially. Bit of beef, spoils it between them, but nothing major. It's kind of just cookie car shit. Jerry and the NYPD woman, they confront Tasha, and she's like, I met with John Silver. Big Terry Silver, damn it. It was alright though. He was alive when I last seen him. So what's going to happen here? Saxon goes to Paz and he's like, Angela's benefits were stopped, so you might not be able to get them. She's obviously not impressed about that in the slightest. Paz got a lot of screen time this episode. We get to see the first meeting of Tasha and Ghost. They're trying to finalise their divorce here. They're trying to begin it. Of course, trying to do it without a court of law, but money is a big issue. How's this going to go down? It's funny though, because Ghost wants her to accompany him to the big meeting later on. The Queen's Child Project, that gets hyped up something fucking chronic, doesn't it? By the way, honestly, a bit less screen time needs to be focused on that. But Proctor's ex-wife, or the mother of his child, visits Saxon. He wants her to wear wire. Does your daughter like unicorns? And he's going to try and hang it on her bag. Tell you what, there could be a lot of crucial information that gets revealed on that. Tasha then pulls up at the door of Keisha and Tommy's house. And he's like, yeah, he's still alive, Tasha. And then Keisha shuts the door. Damn. And Keisha's like, you stay away from Tasha, Tommy. Tommy's like, oh, I will. And obviously he's not too happy about that. But then see Ghost goes to visit Tyreek. Tells him that Uncle Tommy is dead. And Tyreek takes it like that. And then he phones Tommy. Well, he knew Tommy wasn't dead. Aye. Because he's the one that fucking... Well, I guess he thought he could have been dead because a bit of time had passed since he spoke to Tommy earlier that day. But... Anyway, yeah, Ghost and Tyreek, their relationship's dodgy, man. I can see Tyreek killing Ghost. That's what I think might go down this season. To be honest, Ghost is fucking losing control here. Ever since he grew the beard, he's absolutely lost control. And Tommy and Tyreek, they have a phone call, and essentially what this is, Tyreek's like, you can kill my dad, essentially, but I want you to, give me a heads up about it. So yeah. Tate then questions Ghost, is like, did you kill Angela Valdez? Holy shit. Big Tate, man. Guy's got bigger balls than what he thinks. Tommy's trying to buy a new car. He's talking to Tasha about Ghost. Pretty funny line. He tries to roll up a blunt. But guess what? You're buying a new car, son. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to play the game. Paz then gets a hold of Angela's burner phone. She texts the number, thinking it's Ghost, but it's actually Tasha. And that's the way they're going to pay for the wedding, isn't it? Then we get the whole court case around Proctor's daughter. This was a pretty uncomfortable scene because she's like, the kid's crying because you've just got the two kids, or the two adults, the mother and the father, Proctor and his ex-wife, saying all these things, trying to get the daughter to join. Oh, do you want to keep the arrangement right now, which is Proctor gets all custody, or do you want to see your mummy a few times a week? And eventually, but then Proctor jobs out and he's like, it's alright, you can stay with your mum a few times a week. Just completely and utterly, yeah. She's crying. Was this not more of a case for Proctor to go, here, look, you can see how clearly upset she's making her. How about we just fucking stick to the original plan? Honestly, man, sad, but that's just the reality. That's just the reality of these custody cases. Being Joe Proctor, his kid, it's just a million kids out there took up by the miscarriage adjustment. Man, that's it. I'll hit you with the 3 second turn. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Cause I walk alone through this pit of danger. Then we get the Queen's Child Project speech. Tate's talking. Then this like big guy from Jamaica Queens is like, Ghost ain't nothing but a fucking gangster. He was a corner boy then, he's a corner boy now, apart from the fact he's able to deal in these fucking clubs. Then like Ghost grabs the mic, which Tate told him not to do, and he's like, yeah, we've spent 18 hours on this speech, and Tate kind of scolds him about this. Tate then gives this guy a job later in the episode. He's like, yeah, I want you to look into James St. Patrick, and I'll pay you that, obviously, with your former record. That's why you're struggling to get jobs, isn't it? That's why you're struggling to get jobs, damn it. Tommy then gets kidnapped. Peter tells him how things are going to go. You're going to give me money for my security team. And if you don't keep delivering with your shipment, or your product, your money, blah, 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 then I'll let Ghost kill you, sort of deal. So how the hell's that going to go down? Casey ain't happy that Tommy went to Tasha and he got the advice to get her a bag. I mean, I don't really care for Lakeisha, to be honest. I mean, she's alright. I mean, she's pretty hot, but I think she is going to die. I can't see her and her son being dragged into this spin-off with Tommy, so I'm going to assume she dies. What else happened in this episode? Just to wrap things up here. I mean, you've got Tyreek meeting this girl who's kind of like reminds me of a young Tasha, where she's dirty but she's trying to be good, and then he's like, yeah, well, fuck, how about we make some real money, man? How's that going to go down? Then we get this scene here, the final scene, the funeral scene. Really well done. Ghost shows up, Sax can't believe it, and then Ghost cannot believe this one even more. He spots Tommy out the corner of his eye, and he's like, holy shit. Sax then notices it as well, and he tells like Jerry and Co, and they're like, holy shit, what is Tommy Egan doing here? Ghost asks Tasha, did you know Tommy was still alive? And she's like, yeah. But like Ghost is obviously though, because he thought he was fucking dead, so the reaction is definitely warranted here. So how's this going to play out with the next couple of episodes? We'll have to wait and see. Tasha moves into her new apartment. I mean, it looks alright. Like, I mean, we're supposed to feel fucking sorry for her. Come on, still a decent apartment in NYC. Like, what is going on? Then the episode ends with Dre finding out that Angela's been killed. And I tell you what, damn, he thinks the Jimenez cartel coming from. He's rocking a new hairstyle, looks quite cool, the dreadlocks. But I forgot about Dre. And episode 3 is actually called Forgot About Dre, but he appeared at the end of episode 2. So we'll have to wait and see how this is going to go, guys. But Dre's dying this season. He's dying at the hands of Tommy. Honestly. Dre is fucking his plot armor the past couple of seasons, man. Some of the stuff he survived. Yeah, he's not going to survive much more. Anyway, guys, that'll do it for episode 2. I will give this episode a 7 out of 10. As Eminem once said, motherfucker, forgot about Dre. Welcome back, guys, to another Par episode review, season 3. Well, it's not season 3, it's episode 3 of season 6. But yeah, Tommy looks like Eminem, so why don't we get an Eminem reference in with the title of this episode? But it's a weird one because he appeared at the end of last episode, so would it not make more sense to have the title of that episode be called Forgot About Dre? Because Dre returned then. Now, he did feature quite a lot in this one, but let's talk about his escape from the US Marshals, and then he quickly gets caught again. But with is it a major character death in this opening sequence of the episode? Well, essentially what it is, the cartel, the Jimenez cartel, trying to get to Dre. They have to wipe out a few US Marshals here. Essentially, all the police get wiped out apart from Donovan. He manages to drop a couple. It was a pretty good fight scene, to be honest. Dre's holding his kid, although Donovan was holding his kid initially. Dre's like, I need a gun. The only way I'm going to get out of here if you give me a gun. He's like, no, you're a federal witness and you're a criminal. There's no way I'm giving you a gun. But then Donovan manages to hold them off. He drops the last guy, distracts him with a phone, shoots him. He falls. He's took a gunshot in the shoulder. Dre then looks like he's like, hide in the bathroom. I'll defend you if anyone else comes. And then Dre goes into the bathroom, but it's like a two-door bathroom, so he goes in through one door, comes out the other, picks up one of the guy's guns, pulls out a gun on Donovan. Donovan's just saved his kid's life and Dre, and Dre just kills him. It's like, how are you supposed to feel sorry for Dre though? Like, oh, he's trying to protect his kid, he's in witness protection. Here he is killing this officer who was like literally just saving his life about 30 seconds ago. He says, me and you are like, Dre. He's like, I've got a family too, don't do this. And Dre's like, we're nothing like you, a bitch ass nigga. And then, yeah, pulls the trigger, kills him. That was a quote, folks, but I disagree with Dre big time here. I'm not a fan on this. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, I get it. I'm not saying people can't kill people and you can still root for them, but this just felt like a very, very dirty kill, especially after what happened. It's not like Donovan was a dirty cop. It's not. He was actually a straight shooter, and Dre has dropped him. I was not a fan of this in the slightest, if I'm being honest. We see Tommy, he introduces like Lakeisha to a few of the gang, the Primeras, of course. I can't even remember these three guys' name, but there is OG crew now. This is it. This is all Tommy's got to his name. He then gets a phone call for Peter, and Peter wants him to bring him Alicia Jimenez alive. And Tommy's like, how the hell am I going to do that? I've got no one inside the female, penitentiary to get her out. But turns out he wants Ghost to kill her. So Peter is sending Ghost to kill her and Tommy to get her, but make sure she's alive. So he's keeping these two alive just to funnel money because he's demanding, obviously, every like couple of weeks they give him money. I think Tommy's like 2 million every 2 weeks, and Ghost, I think he's a bit cheaper on Ghost. I think he's only wanting like 100k or 200k for Ghost, but either way, he's pitting these two against each other, and I like the transition of the scene where he was talking to Tommy, then he goes to like pour himself a drink, and then when he turns back around, it's Ghost now sitting in the chair. But we may as well talk about this because this just turned into like a heist this episode. We see Alicia, she takes like a fit at her desk, but then the water gets swapped around, so obviously that was a plant to make her sick, so she's forced to go to the bathroom. Lakeisha is in the out of order stall. She gives the text to Tommy that, right, she's there. Then the EMTs arrive, and the EMTs are a part of Tommy's crew. Again, I don't get this because, right, this is like the highest, level of transport for a high-risk prisoner you will be able to get. She's the head of the cartel, and they just let these so-called EMTs take her. Like, there's no background check. There's like, I get it. EMTs would probably be at the courthouse, but there's like no like and it's like these guys are part of Tommy's crew, and he's wearing a baseball cap, Tommy. And Ghost is also sitting there with a fucking toolbox, and it's like, does no one clock on to these people? You've got Sachs there, you've got the new guy that was in Californication there, you've got the only person that notices anyone is Dre. He notices Ghost going down the elevator, and when Ghost gets out the elevator and gets in the fan, he spots Tommy at the ambulance. They load Alicia into the ambulance, and Ghost is like, motherfucker. And then, yeah, they manage to escape because a fan pulls out, and they get back to Peter. Peter demands, Alicia gives him like contacts and all this shit. She's like, can I have a cigarette? She gets the cigarette. After a puff, tells him to go fuck himself. Peter kills her, and he's like, wait, what the fuck, Peter? What was the whole plan of me doing this stealth mission to get her out of the, cuffs, bring her to you just for you to shoot her? And he's like, because you know what it's like, Tommy, I want to kill people myself. Obviously highlighting the fact that he wanted Ghost to kill her, and if Ghost did kill her, it wouldn't have changed anything. But obviously now, Ghost thinks that, oh shit, I've got to pay the money. I've got to pay the money to Peter. He's got to pay double money now, because Peter says the money would have been squashed if he managed to kill Alicia, but of course Tommy actually was the one that managed to get her. So again, Tommy and Ghost butting heads. Are they going to team up again? I really hope they don't. Again, how many times in this show, we're 6 seasons in, have there's been like prisoner transport of a witness, and they always get killed? I get it, right? With Tommy and Ghost being so connected, if someone actually did testify, these two would be fucked. But I think we need something a bit more original than just repeating the same gimmick of, oh, this guy's going to testify, and then they end up getting killed. It's fucking embarrassing that the police forces in New York, man, they're not doing a very good job protecting their witnesses, I'll tell you that much for sure. Tyreek's back, and then he goes back to Tate, man. Code, sorry, he wants some more drugs. Ghost as well. His side business this episode kind of pissing on businessman Tate's shoes because, Tate told him to stay away, but Ghost can't stay away. The Queen Child's project. Also, when Tommy's talking to Proctor, he wants Alicia's whereabouts, and Ghost wanted them as well. The school bag of his daughter, of course, which has the wire tap on it in the unicorn. They heard a bit of the conversation. Obviously, we haven't heard how much Sax heard of the conversation, but she did come downstairs halfway during this conversation between Proctor and Tommy, took it upstairs. So I think what they've actually heard on the recording isn't really incriminating, but there's proof that Tommy showed up at Proctor's house. So again, it's like, how fucking jammy did these guys get? I mean, they actually have a wiretap in the house, and it's just so convenient that his daughter comes down the stairs to lift her school bag and goes up the top of the stairs. Man, come on. What are we doing here? Are we doing racing or ping pong, folks? What is going on? Somebody forgot about Dre. Somebody forgot about the wiretap. Telling you. Also, Tasha wants to start a childcare business, of course, because since Ghost doesn't really give them their money, she needs to start that. And also, where is Terry Silver? Is this guy dead? I mean, Ghost choked him out 4 episodes ago and we never seen him. So, only time will tell in that regard. Dre's freaking out. Sax tells him that he's free to go, but guess what? You're a wanted man. Your daughter's not going with you. And yeah, you'll probably struggle to survive on the streets. Tough luck, kid. And leaves. Holy shit. So Dre, I don't think Dre has got much left in this show. I would be shocked if he made it out of this show alive. I know there's like the 3 spin-offs, but like I said, this guy's plot armor has been pretty fucking incredible so far. Ghost then phones Tommy to end the episode and he's like, right, you clearly know, Tommy, that Peter put both of us against each other today. He wanted me to kill her and you to take her. And he wanted something to happen in the middle. And he's like, yeah, he's just playing us for his money. And Tommy's like, I don't care what he's doing. Go fuck yourself, Ghost. And then that is how the episode ends. It's like, how many times have we seen episodes end with these two butting heads? But this time, oh, it's the final butt of the heads. I mean, come on, they'll fucking probably reunite by the end or something, man. But yeah, season 6, they're throwing a lot at the episodes. Like there's a lot happening, but the substance, it's, you know, who cares if there's a lot happening if not really much is happening? Again, I think this, honestly, I think what needs to happen in this show is at the end, someone testifies and people go to fucking jail in this organisation. Something needs to happen, right? Because if this show just ends with no one going to jail after the amount of court cases that we've been through, it would be a miscarriage of justice. Yes, enjoy the pun. But I'm going to give this episode I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Come on, season 6, final season. Bring the goodies, and Big Stevie Cool will deliver them here on Fog Entertainment. But 6 out of 10. Till next time, peace.
Why is Tommy still alive? Well, in better case, why is Angela still alive? Welcome back, guys, to season 6, episode 4 of Power. It is your review here as we get to we're almost at the end. We're almost at the end of these Power reviews, man. Absolutely flying through it at the minute. And the problem with this episode for me, and a lot of Power, to be honest, in this season 6, is there's a lot going on, but a lot of it just almost sucks in a way, to be perfectly honest. Like, we kick off, Angela's like, oh, why is Tommy still alive? But I'm not giving you my blessing to kill him, Ghost. Ghost imagining Angela's like, I'm going to make that right, don't you worry about it. We see Tommy's mum return for like the 20th millionth time, man. Honestly, can this character just die or get in the bin? See when he cut ties with her, when he kind of hung out with Teresi, that should have been it. Proctor then turns up at Ghosts with Dre of all people, and I just feel at this point Dre is hanging around like a bad smell. Like, Ghost knows he's a rat, but you know, everyone knows he's a rat, but Proctor's like, oh, we can use him to give Sax information, and then like the information that Dre's clearly in it for himself, exactly like Ghost said, makes no sense, man. Like, it just kill him. Like, Ghost did want to kill him, but Proctor talked him out, and now they're going to use Dre to feed Sax useless information. I don't know, it just seems fucking ridiculous at this point. Tasha opens her daycare centre, meets this guy. He then talks at the end of the episode as if like they've been in like a 3-month relationship when she wants to call off. It's like, you've known each other a couple of days, fucking hell, reel it in, big man. He's like, I ain't gonna let nothing get in the way of what matters. So yeah, how's that gonna go? Ghost? Things aren't going well for Ghost, so to speak. Him and Tate have a talk at Truth. Tate's like, no more funny business, Ghost. And then as soon as he leaves, Tate rings the main man, he's like, right, you guy who was a jobber, but you've been looking after Ghost for me. Keep an eye on him, man. And keep an eye on him is exactly right, because Ghost gets the road closed that Tommy is in fact going to have to use to get out of his warehouse. But then they go in the ambulance and make it through that way. And then what happens? Of course, Ghost, out of fucking nowhere, smashes straight in to the fucking ambulance, gets out, starts spraying at it, messes everyone. They manage to start the ambulance and drive off. Like, damn, like, what the fuck is going on? Tariq then breaks into Tommy's warehouse and steals a bunch of the scripts, so to speak. And then he delivers it to Vincent, who, you know, well, I say he doesn't actually deliver it to Vincent yet, because guess what? The main man, Tommy, went to Vincent. And he's like, ah, right, Vincent, where are you getting your stuff from, big man? Vincent whips it. He's like, that's my fucking stuff. And then, yeah, Tommy puts two and two together after he says a friend of Kanan's, it's fucking Tariq. So Tommy confronts Tariq. He's like, no more of this shit. He says, it was Kanan's stash. Lying, ruining Kanan's fucking, legacy even more at this point. Also, Ghost did get arrested, but it was Tate's dirty fucking cops. So, I mean, no biggie there. No biggie there, big man. No need to fear about it. No need to fear whatsoever. Dre then meets with Sax. Talking about the witness here. And then what does Dre do? He follows Sax to the apartment, so he knows the apartment. And it's like, so hold on here. So Dre is trying to bring down Ghost. They hear this over the tape, the wire. And then, like, did Sax know Dre was following him? Was this, like, set up this way? But Dre was doing it so stealthily, so who knows, man? Who fucking knows what's going on here? But essentially what happens at the end of this episode, we think Ghost is going to kill the witness. How many times has this show whipped out the witness card? Fuck me, man. It is getting a wee bit repetitive in that regard. But Ghost doesn't kill her. He gives her a stack of money, then leaves, and the FBI turn up. But Ghost notices this, and so does Dre. But yeah, we're not allowed to speak on this matter. Tommy like cuts ties with his mum after she kind of like badmouths Lakeisha. She's like, oh, she's gonna put that kid first, way before you. And Tommy's like, get the fuck out, ma. Hopefully for the last time. I do not need to see this character, Kate Egan, again. Right? That is the fucking reality of it. Peter and Ghost have one final like conversation here. I'm sure we'll see him again, right? Tariq then turns up at Vincent. He's like, you didn't fucking tell me Tommy was your godfather. And now Vincent wants double the scripts from Tariq. How's Tariq going to get this? He's getting himself in deep trouble here. I could maybe see Tariq killing Vincent, but we'll have to wait and see. He's also getting into a bit of a relationship as well there. But the biggest thing to happen this episode for me was Proctor and his wife, ex-wife, where she ODs because he tells her a lot of lies. I think he's the one that put the letter in, wasn't he? So he's made her fail that class, or a lawyering degree. He puts it in and tells her, oh, I'm meeting someone, I might give her this ring. Because he knows that would push her to the edge, and she dies of an overdose. And he could have dialed 911, but he didn't fucking help her. And it's all on tape due to the unicorn wire. So, right, I fucking pray to God that these guys finally go down. I know Tommy can't really go down, he's got the spin-off. I'm praying whatever happens, Proctor brings down Ghost, but then Proctor's card of using that laptop with the Homeland Security agent, like, it incriminates fucking Tommy way more than Ghost, even though they talk about the Lobos kill. I don't know how Tommy's getting out of this. Maybe Proctor will get out of it, but if this show ends with no one going to jail, I will be seriously disappointed, because they've got away with so much, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, see if they kill off Sax and everyone else gets to live, that'll just be fucking mad, man. But yeah, Ghost ends the episode thinking of Angela a bit more, imagining her. Oh, brilliant. So, how's all this going to go down, guys? I'm not too sure. I don't know, I think season 6, like, there's a lot going on, but it seems just to be repeating witnesses. Oh, look, Dre's out, bad smell Dre. It's like, why, when are we going to get to the serious fucking matters? It's not bad, but I think season 5 was much better. But I've got a feeling like, there's not many episodes of the show to go at this point, like, 11, 12? Chaos, shit's going to hit the fan. Looking forward to it, but I'll give this one a 6 out of 10. So until next time, peace. Proctor. needs a doctor. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We're back with another par review. It is season 6, sorry, episode 5, and we lost a few big characters this episode. Characters that are going to have a big play in the future. We do begin the episode with Tyreek playing with, I mean, you can almost call her a girlfriend. They're playing chess, but she's the one that's left the King's Gambit piece down on Tyreek. Who does she know? Who knows? But all I do know is she's not on Tariq's side. She is using this kid. Using this kid to an absolute problem. But Tariq has got a big problem because he needs to bring Vincent double the product. And I just don't think that's going to happen. James says he wants to pull out then of all, like, you know, advertisement of the Queen's project shit. Tate's like, that's a great deal. But then the woman William's like, nope, nope. And Tate's like, no, yes, yes. It was like it was a battle of yes and no here. But Tate's not too impressed that this woman for some reason is now backing Ghost to the tilt, and that's exactly what's going on. Sax is then confronted by his superior about everything that's went down, and I can guarantee you things are about to get a lot worse. Absolutely get a lot worse, because it's like, I mean, we'll get to it when we get to it. A lot of deaths this episode, a lot of witnesses, and I think it might be a tad repetitive, to be honest. And I know what I think is seriously repetitive and is actually getting on my fucking nerves. How many times did Tasha and Tommy need to meet up just to smoke weed in the car? Like, here, I'm not saying every scene they do this in is filler, because most of the time important information gets revealed, but it's almost a bit cringy to me. Like, come on, fucking smoking weed, we get it. Sax is now threatening Dre. He shows him his daughter. He's like, that's what you've got to bring me information on St. Patrick, man. It's got to be the way it goes. But Sax gets called in, shit's hitting the fan, but now he's like, we've got 2 witnesses. I'm going to try and turn Joseph Proctor. And can he turn Proctor? Who knows? He says he's going to tag along with a wee visit to Proctor's house, which he does, and he manages to secure the unicorn and therefore the wiretap that was in that. So what secrets will that hold? We also get a scene with Tasha and some like stripper who's like, I'll pay you double tomorrow. This did nothing for me. What a shit bloody life this kid must have with a stripper mom, dad out the picture. Stripper's like, just don't get it. She's sitting there dancing, man. Tasha's then confronted by this guy, and he's like, right, you're going to pay me protection money. And she's like, right. And then she tries to ask Tommy for help. He like completely shuts her down. And then at the end of the episode, she essentially says, do you want me to move product for you? And he's like, okay, and that's it. That's that beef squash. So how's that going to go down? This guy's probably just going to get killed by Ghost at some point, to be brutally honest. Dre then brings up to Ghost that, how about I just move in and become Big Peter's distributor again? How about that? Then we have Proctor sharing one final conversation with Benny here. Tells him, that he's the one that, you know, essentially jobbed it. His wife let her die, but I mean, I don't blame him for letting that happen. And Tariq then goes to meet with Vincent. Looks like it's going okay, but Tariq then starts like he gets all the drugs out, and essentially what he is doing here, he's mixing the pills, so they're just nowhere near as going to be strong. Tommy then confronts Proctor. He puts a knife to his throat. I thought, that might be the last time these two run into each other. Sax then confronts Proctor with the leverage because he heard on the wire that Proctor let his wife die, and now he's threatening them. Essentially, it's, you know, do I let that tape play? Because it's not necessarily that Proctor would go to jail, but his daughter would find out that he let his mother die, and that's going to be pretty hard to forgive, isn't it? So essentially what he does is he moves into Ghost's house. He's like, there's a potential client, Ghost, that could be bad for me, so let me move into your house, which is all good. Tariq then gets expelled because the school found out about the drugs, gets sent back to the house, which ain't good. Tariq gets sent to his room. You get Tariq, Tasha, and Ghost, and Proctor all there. It's all a bit chaotic. Tasha storms out in a huff. She meets up with Tommy again in the car. It's like, fuck me, these scenes are getting a wee bit old at this point. And let's slide that Proctor is in staying at Ghost's house. And then Tommy, we think, alright, he's going to break into Ghost's house. He doesn't yet. He breaks into Maria Suarez's house and kills her. But no, I don't get right. Sax was there. Why wouldn't he just kill Sax? Well, I'm glad he didn't kill Sax, right? But why wouldn't Tommy just kill Sax as well? And I don't want to hear anything, oh, he's above killing the police, because he's fucking certainly not above killing the police, man. He's killed enough police, let me tell you, right? kills Maria Suarez. Ghost then heads out to get to do a bit of his own killing Maria Suarez. And at this point, is that going to happen? I'm not too sure. Proctor then gets a phone call, and it's like, what is going to happen here? What is going to happen here? Because I'm not quite too sure. Big man, but he gets a phone call from a guy. It's essentially about. I think it's the same guy actually. It looks. It looks quite similar. Is it the same guy that was talking to Tasha? It might be, but one of Tommy's henchmen kills him. It's like, Proctor might be the snitch essentially here, but now Tommy then phones Tariq and tells him, right, big man, you leave that door unlocked. But as Tariq's going to put this master plan in motion, he hears crying and he finds out that Elisa Marie, Proctor's daughter, is in the house or the apartment, the penthouse, whatever. So he takes her downstairs and go gets her ice cream. And this is when shit hits the fan for me. This is when the episode goes for. I mean, it was good to this point, but this is where it goes to great. Proctor's, looking out the window, and out of nowhere, I think he was on the phone. I can't actually remember who he was on the phone to, right? But he sees Tommy's reflection in the glass. Tommy starts spraying at him. This fucking badass scene. He's got this proper assault rifle. He starts spraying at him in Ghost's penthouse. The fucking glass is shattering. Proctor, he then hits a couple of rounds at Tommy. None hit him. Proctor then gets caught in the leg. He's shooting at Tommy. Tommy's shooting at him. It goes across the kitchen. He manages to sneak into a room. He then sneaks through another room into Rayner's room, and Tommy eventually catches up to him, but he blocks the door. He phones Elisa Marie. He's like, where the hell are you? And she's like, I'm with Tariq. And then I think at this point Proctor knows, right, his ghost is up. At least his daughter is saved, so to speak. And he runs out of bullets. He says goodbye to his daughter. Very sad scene. A great action scene though. I think Parr does a really good job of shootouts, and this was one of them. But it's right, my only problem with this is, so may as well spoil it. It's the review after all. Tommy storms in. Proctor tells him it's not over. And Tommy's like, well, it is for you, and kills him. So Joseph Proctor, the corrupt lawyer, is dead. But he went out like a man. He didn't fucking car and beg for his life here. He said it's not over, referring to you're going to go down at some point, Tommy. But my problem with this is, right, how many times are they going to play the cards where Ghost and Tommy or whoever find out about the witness and kill them? It's getting fucking old, right? I really enjoy this show. Hell, some of it I love, but I've never seen a show where they find out about so many fucking witnesses and just kill them like it's nothing, or do these mini heists to break people out of custody, and it's it's almost borderline ridiculous how much Tommy and Ghost have got away with. And yeah, I think if this show seriously ends with them both getting away with it, I will be disheartened, and it will honestly have an everlasting effect on this show. Because for me, I just don't understand how they could. Now, I know Tommy's got the spin-off. I'm not too sure about Ghost. I think Ghost might die, but what I'm hoping is that Tommy does get arrested at the end of this show, and then he gets released after 5 years or something, maybe. But I think the amount of time since it's been, maybe it could have been about 5 years since this spin-off started. I'm not too sure, but I just think it's ridiculous the amount of witnesses they kill and get away with it. And yes, they're the main characters, right? They're anti-heroes, even though I would not really say Tommy's ever been a good guy per se. I mean, at least Ghost has got a family and redeeming qualities that way, but Tommy's not. I think it is borderline ridiculous how much they get away with. And then things go to 110 as well. There's a few more text messages here. And Tommy and Ghost run into each other down at the amusement park. And it turns out Vincent set them up, and they've got 24 hours to deliver $2 million to Vincent because of Tariq fucking up the drug game for him. And if they don't, Tariq's dead. So Tommy and Ghost have got to work together. How's that going to go down? I'm not too sure, but it's I'm going to give this episode a 9. But sooner rather than later, man. The show's got 10 episodes left, I think, at this point. Someone's got to go to jail. How many people have died after being considered rats/witnesses? I've never seen a show like it. It's getting borderline ridiculous. But anyway, guys, that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm just ranting here like a fud for no reason. But Yeah, like I've watched a hell of a lot of shows in my time, and I've never seen a show milk the rat witness card to the degree of this show. But anyway, guys, till next time, peace.
We got an inside man. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is season 6 of episode 6 of Par. This one, of course, is Inside Man. And let's talk about this episode. Let's discuss if it's good, because essentially what the gist is here, Tommy and Ghost team up one last time. And I say one last time, I have no idea if this is going to be the last time these two team up, right? But I just think it's getting borderline ridiculous. That, like, what we're doing this season. It's like, going into this season, I was like, right, it's going to be Tommy against Ghost here. Hopefully, I get it, right? They drag out a feud for 15 episodes where they are trying to kill each other. It's a hard task, but I don't like this trying to kill each other. Mini truce for another issue. Back to killing each other. Truce, kill, truce, kill. I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not a fan of it, to be honest. I think they could have did a much better job of this season so far. But, you know, we've got Ghost scrambling for money. He asked Tate for a loan of $1 million. Tate eventually agrees to give him it because he's like, I'll give it to you tomorrow. Tommy then gets a lot of product off of Jason's hand. And what I don't like as well is Dre, it just feels like a background character, man. He's just doing nothing. And he also killed Donovan. It's almost like, are we just forgetting about that? Honestly, it doesn't feel that all up too much, but Tommy then tells his Primaras that they're not getting paid for any of this. But you'll have to make it right. Ghost then gets pulled over with like all the product in the back of his car. But thankfully for him, nothing happens. Vincent then confronts Tasha, and turns out now this whole gimmick with Tyreek for the $2 million to get him back is actually a Tyreek's master plan with Vincent. But it's so obvious that they're just gonna, job Tariq out, kill Tariq, kill the Ghost and Tommy, and then take all the money for themselves. That is the master plan after all, but it doesn't go that way. Because who's surprised? And then later in the episode, we get Tasha and Tariq talking to Rodriguez. Gives a statement here, I left the back door open, man, I didn't mean it, man. There's this racist guy. Good lie for Tariq, but Tasha knew it was a lie. And then, when they sell all the product, it's weird, because you've got Ghost and Tasha working with Tommy and Lakeisha, and it's like, this just feels forced. It almost feels fucking cringe to a degree. Like, I've never seen a show where they've like pitted arch nemesis together. Like, I get it, Tommy and Ghost former brothers, so to speak, but to me, this stuff's just quite incredibly weird. But let's move a lot of product today in this episode. But there's just really not a lot happening. This episode, it was more, we get the product, we get the money, and then as soon as Ghost and Tommy go to deliver it, they get confronted by Jason. Jason then just takes all the money for himself. Vincent's not too happy, so what he proceeds to do is batter Tyreek with like a meat bag. I think it was oranges in it. Yeah, and then Tyreek's like, what the fuck? He's like, well, your father didn't come through and didn't give me the money, so you played all of us. Stupid little shit. But then Vincent gives him another day. Tyreek kind of lets it slip, says, well, you know what? Vincent's going to kill me. And Tommy then comes up with a great plan of kidnapping one of Vincent's guys. So Tommy and BG kidnap him. Then we have the exchange down at the docks. And I'm thinking, right, well, I say we have the exchange down at the docks. We've also got the master plan that was rob their own wee ceremony at Truth. A few of Tommy's guys notice Dre, and then he tries to follow him, but nothing exactly happens there. And then we get the big showdown, player, where they manage to rob a few of them, but Tate's like, I recognise that guy. And then Ghost's like, take the gun, gives Ghost the gun, or Ghost gives Tate the gun, and then Tate drops him. Ex-police officer comes out looking like a hero, and the woman calls him out. So yeah, I mean, this heist went according to plan. This guy died. I mean, I guess Tate knew who it was, so how could he really have lived? To be honest, all good here. Then we get the showdown down at the docks. Tyreek gets given back, and Vincent's like, you really think I'm a man of my word, sort of pish. And then guess what happened? Benny's guys show up and save him because Tyreek looked after Elisa Marie. My cousin Joe Proctor got killed. And then, yeah, at this point, Benny's like, because Tyreek, I was like, Ghost told me the motherfucker who killed Joe. And then, like, Tommy
It's like, ah, did he? And then it's obviously Tommy's the one that killed Joe Proctor. Then it ends with Tariq saying goodbye to Tommy, and Ghost and Tommy kind of share a look like they both know. It goes back to the apartments. We see Tommy's like, Kesha, he knows I killed Proctor, and I think he's even more pissed about Angela. This one, then we see Ghosts turning her fence. He tells Tasha, and essentially reveals that, and I think Tariq helped them. Right. I'm just hoping at this point, this is like the last time we see them team up, because I just think I think it is genuinely getting ridiculous here between the amount of times that these two have betrayed each other in the past. I mean, it's been a constant theme in this show. I like Tommy's rise to the top and all that good stuff, but come on, Par, sort it out. And Dre, just feeling like a background character these days, man. Honestly. Anyway, guys, I'm going to give this episode of Par I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I thought it was probably the weakest episode in some time. And, aye, till next time. R.I.P. Big Afro, man. Like father, like son. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We are here with yet another Par review. Is Season 6, Episode 7. We're getting close, man. We're getting very, very close to the ending of this OG Par. Of course, there's a lot of spin-offs. I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into them. But I mean, first of all, we've got to wrap up the original show, and how are they going to wrap this bad boy up? Not a like about TV shows. See, when you get to like the final couple of episodes of it, and it just feels like all out chaos, and literally anyone could die. I really like that in a show. I felt that way in Breaking Bad. Felt that way in Sons of Anarchy. I feel that way here. And I mean, there's other TV shows like Sopranos and shit that have a similar sort of feeling, but I like that. I like a sense of unpredictability going into my TV show finales, and that's exactly what's going on with Bar now. Yes, of course, there still is like another like 10 episodes, 9 episodes to go here, but shit is hitting the fan, and we kick off this episode with essentially Ghost. He's had enough of Tariq. Shit, after the last episode with him finding out, well, basically putting two and two together that Tariq helped Tommy wipe out Joe Proctor. This episode, he gets a gun and puts it in Tariq's face, and I'm like, holy moly, man, Ghost is seriously going to this level here, and he teaches his son, and he gets his son to give him all his drug money, and he's like, it's alright, he's got to go to school now, and everything's going to be alright, Tasha, don't worry, he respects me now, I'm his father. Tariq overhears this conversation a wee bit later, it's like, I just don't really buy this. We see Keisha and Tommy talking, and it looks like we're going to get Tommy versus Ghost, and I swear to God, right? I say it looks like we're going to get Tommy versus Ghost. How many times have I said this? It's just getting a bit borderline ridiculous now between these two. Like, and I've said this for like, to me, that's like I think there's a few flaws to this show, but I think the constant beefing between Tommy and Ghost that never really goes anywhere. Despite, I mean, like going into these later seasons, man, they're killing like girlfriends of each other and business associates, family members, and it's like no one really cares. Lakesha then arrives at the warehouse and kind of accuses Two-Bit of stealing the product, but even though she knows he didn't, and he kind of like grabs her arm, and Tommy's not going to be too impressed that's happened. Then we find out Derek, who's on Tate's campaign or whatever, he finds his wife sleeping with Tate, and he's like, damn, this is going to throw a spanner in the works, sorry. And essentially Tate gets Ghost to convince him otherwise, and I thought, well, Ghost is probably just going to kill this guy. He doesn't kill him, and he sets him straight. He's like, Derek, we need this to happen, but we'll get you a higher up position, and you'll make a wee bit of money out of Tate. Kesha then is confronted by Tyreek at Tommy's house, and this is when Tyreek begins to plant seeds here, because he finds out that there's this beef, and then later in the episode he tries and puts Ghost in a dangerous position by having to go to Keisha, and obviously knowing the whole entire beef there, so that could seriously spiral out of control. Meanwhile, for Sax, shit is absolutely hitting the fan for him, but now there's pictures of Dre up in the boot, because of course he's being used on Coleman's, not Coleman's, Dre is being used on Tate's like promotional images now, because Tate managed to get one black kid back from the system, sort of talk going on there. Tommy then meets one of Peter's, not Peter's, is it Peter? Jason, that's his name. I keep calling the guy Peter, man. That's his name, Jason. Who else was called Peter in this show? Not too sure, but and of course it's played, the actor here played Sucre in Prison Break,
hope we get to see more of this guy. This could potentially be setting up a one of the spin-offs, maybe. Hopefully, maybe we could see that. Dre then meets with Tyreek. He gives Tyreek like a brick to move because Dre guessed that Tyreek would use that leverage against him, which I guess he was correct about this. Rodriguez then questions Elisa Marie, and she doesn't really give up much, but she talks about Tyreek taking her to the coffee shop. Then let me show you what I've got. Brilliant, phenomenal. Tyreek, he gets into his new school, not really an awful lot going on there. To be honest, Ghost then confronts Lucasia, gives her money to leave town, but she doesn't leave town. Of course she doesn't. Then Sax puts an ankle monitor on Andre, but this doesn't really lead anywhere because essentially what happens is that he puts this on him. Tommy then tells his entire crew to leave. Then his crew come up with a plan of, right, you know what? How about we send someone after Lucasia to scare her, and then we'll kidnap Dre and bring him to Tommy. Which, right, they end up bringing Dre back, right? After Tommy has a conversation with Tariq. Looks like he cuts all ties with Tariq, hangs him over the edge, like, you're in the fucking game now, son. Because obviously, Tariq admits that he stole from his warehouse. Lucasia, though, manages to fight the guy off. He was only supposed to scare her, kills him. And then the crew kidnap Dre. Tommy's obviously not too impressed with this, finds out what happened to Lakeisha. Then Tommy and Ghost meet face to face at Jason's like warehouse. Jason's like, what did I fucking tell you? He's not allowed to kill each other. Tommy's like, keep an eye on Dre. And then 2-Bit and Specs leave to try and sort something else out, and they leave BJ in charge of Dre, right? And then this Dre just shoots this guy because he manages to get free, and he escapes. Now, not going to give any other spoilers, but episode 8 and 9. But there's no mention of this. Tommy doesn't care. There's no follow-up scene with 2-Bit or Specs about BG being killed. There's no scene. And to me, that's really poor writing. I like shows that tie up all their loose ends, and sometimes loose ends don't even need to be mentioned. But this, like, they had Dre in their captivity, and here he is. He just shoots BG, and that's it. We're supposed to just forget about that. Like, and BG has been here for the ride for, like, pretty much the whole show. Like, Tommy's, like, one of his soldiers, and it's like, what? That's it. That's the best we've got here. Absolutely. Absolutely incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. So, yeah. Absolute mess. Tommy shows Lakeisha that, yeah, this life's no bad. I've bought you a new house sort of deal. And then Tasha tells Tariq, I'm going to teach you the game, son, because I know you're never going to change. Your father may think you can change, but you can't change. So here's all you need to know. End of the episode. So it looks like Tyreek is probably going to become Ghost, but I just don't get, like, they kidnap Dre and then he gets himself free and there's like no follow-up to it. Now, in the next couple of episodes there's bigger fish to fry for Tommy, but like at the start of the next episode, like, there's no mention of BG being dead or whatever. It's just very weird why that would happen. Like, it's not even like Dre just slipped out the back door and everyone forgot about it. Like, he fucking dropped one of your Primaris, one of your movers, one of your earners, one of your soldiers, and there's no mention. Didn't get this. But anyway, guys, I'll give this episode a 7 out of 10. That's it for Like Father, Like Son. Until then, peace. Par, have you got the power with the deal with the devil tonight? Honestly, it feels like Deal Like with the Devil has been a gimmick this entire show. I feel like there's been about 10 episodes called Deal with the Devil, but here we are, troops, with Par, Season 6, Episode 8, and immediately, how was there no follow-up? How was there no follow-up to Dre killing BG, or whatever the big guy was called? I do not get this. This baffled me. Essentially what we do get, though, is Dre demanding Sax cuts the ankle bracelet off, which Sax doesn't do. I mean, we've seen Dre drop Donovan. I'm surprised at this point how Dre hasn't dropped fucking Sax, but Sax obviously being fired for his job, he's looking a bit tired these days. Doesn't really look like he's up for the fucking task, to be honest. Dre then gives a phone call to Ghost, but Ghost essentially says, till you get that bracelet off, I want nothing to do with you. Tommy arrives. Cash! He's struggling with some of his homework, and Tommy's like, you know what, the police stop you, you don't tell the police shit, you come to me anytime the police interfere. And I was like, is that going to play a part this episode? It definitely could. Sax then goes to the former command. I guess she was in command like last season. She's got something new with her hair, looks 100 times better, and she's like, well, you know what, if you can prove all this stuff, Sax, maybe I've got something for you at the end of the rainbow. But
looking for you, son. It looks like it's going to be a question of where you're going to prison, not if. So Sax this episode is trying to like plant the seed. He's trying to get information. He confronts Tyreek at his school. Tyreek doesn't really give much up here, but Sax then pays a visit to Lakeisha and says, "Here, I want some information," but then she doesn't give it up. Now Tyreek's teacher, right? He kind of looks like he looks a bit like Zac Efron. Is it Zac Efron? I mean, I don't think it is Zac Efron, but I would stick decent money on it, to be honest. Kate then turns up at the house, Tasha, no, Lakeisha's and Tommy's, and she just like puts a picture of herself, and Lakeisha tells her to fucking leave, and it's like, I hate this old bitch. I hope she fucking dies. I hope Tommy honestly kills her. I don't know how though. I thought the reason he might kill her is kind of off the table at this point, but I just don't like her. If she finally snaps, Tasha's telling Tyreek how to move more products, cook the books, so to speak. How is this going to go for Tyreek? What is Ghost going to do when he reacts to this, man? It's going to absolutely blow back on their face. Tasha's mum, the grandmother of Tyreek, she's not too happy about this. Of course, our grandson getting into the business that, her ex-husband, her ex-son-in-law and daughter are fucking involved in. But yeah, Tyreek meets Rwanda, and he's like, "Oh, you got a nice kid there, Ghost. It's all going according to plan." And then the master plan, Derek and Ghost put Tate's microphone on, and Tate blasts a hell of a promo here, and essentially his campaign is in tatters after this. We see Sax, he goes to Agent Rodriguez's, and essentially what it is here, they think Tyreek killed Ray Ray, and they think there's a lot of murders going on. She then pays a visit to Dre and demands some information. Damn it, Dre, you're going to use some information, but it looks like she's going to burn Sax at the same time. And he gives up a bit of information. He told Tyreek where Ray Ray would be, the location. So she's like, that must be it. That must be it. Tyreek must have killed him, and they're all covering for him, man. Absolutely insane. But now it looks like James is going to jump ship to the other person, man. So yeah, that's a bit. We had a bit more with Tyreek this episode. I get it, like he's like learning the game, so to speak. But I thought we did all that with Kenan. Like I get it, he's still like a kid and he's still in school and he needs to learn a lot more about being a hustler and all that good stuff. But I don't think we need to fill out the final season with shit like this, to be honest. So that's just my personal opinion, to be honest. But for Tate, it's not looking good for him. Lakeisha then gets pulled over by Rodriguez and forces her into signing this document in order to get cash back, and she agrees to a full cooperation here. Painting the whole thing that Tommy, it's going to go to shit. Like Lakeisha didn't officially rat here, but she signed this document, and things aren't looking too good. Things are not looking too good for Lakeisha. And then at basketball practice, Cash tells Tommy about this. Tommy confronts her. She's like, "No, I didn't. I signed it just to get cash back. I wouldn't fucking rat. I know about Holly. I know you killed her, but I'm here. I'm here for good, man. I ain't gonna kill you. It ain't gonna happen." Ghost is then sitting at his bar at Truth. Rodriguez comes in, starts talking absolute mince to him. How many times, right, are we seriously gonna see Ghost sitting at Truth? She then manages to get his fingerprints off a glass at Truth. It's like, you could just plant the fingerprints at a location, man. Could that not happen? And then Tommy and Ghost, for the millionth time, team up. They go into Sax's location. I'm thinking, holy shit, Sax is going to die here. He's sitting watching porn, right? He's got his fucking jeans wrapped around his ankles, man. Ghost and Tommy then like torture him. He's like, you fucking bastard. You do realise, Ghost, he's the one that killed Angela. And Ghost is like, yeah, and so what? But then eventually they're like, Sax live, and they're like, right, the only reason we're letting you live is because you can be our inside man and get us away from all these crimes. But Sax was never going to do that. I can't believe they actually spared him, though. Like, I'm glad. Like, I like Sax. He's the only, like, OG police officer, like, left standing in this show. But I'd be absolutely shocked if Sax didn't die, man. I would be absolutely shocked. Dre then, for cooperating, I guess, gets his wee ankle bracelet cut off him. And at this point, we've got more chaos going on. We've got Agent Rodriguez going to the house of Tasha. Not really much going on. We get Tate and Ghost having another week conversation. Like, this is just not really going too well, man, to be honest. Sax then pulls up at the door of the main man, his boss, and tells him that Ghost and St. Patrick and Tommy tried to kill him and that they've let me live. And he's like, well, you know what? If they were half the men you think they are, Sax, they would have killed you. And I think you can see why this sounds like a load of shit, but like, why would Sax make it up? He's come in with fucking battered and bruised, gets removed from the building. Things are not looking good for Sax. Then we see Tommy and Cash. They are, in fact, looking for an engagement ring. But like, Lakeisha is going to rat at this point. I mean, she's packed the suitcases. Her and Cash are going to leave. Tasha then comes over to confront her, and she's like, you can't be doing this, Lakeisha. And then what I thought would happen, they get into a squabble. They're fighting over the gun, but eventually what happens, we don't know which one of them gets shot. Here, the bullet goes, I knew it was going to be Lakeisha. They were never going to kill Tasha this way. There's too much for Tasha in this show, I guess, for these final couple of episodes, but they fight for the gun. Bullet goes off, hits Lakeisha in the stomach, then Tasha finishes her off and leaves, the door unlocked. Tommy then finds her, tells Cash to go wait in the car, and that is how we end the episode. So you believe at this point that, you know, Tommy, who's he going to think killed her? Is he going to put two and two together that it could have been Tasha, or is he going to think it's the guy who he always thinks it is who does this sort of shit, Ghost? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. That was it, though. Deal with the devil. Big character death and Lakeisha Grant dying, but again, it's like, it just stems back, though, to like, she was becoming like another witness, and this show's got a fetish with killing off witnesses. Like, it really fucking does. Anyway, guys, I'll give this episode an 8 out of 10. Till next time, peace.
Things are heating up, and guys, it's scorched earth. Welcome to another review of Power. And damn, things are getting spicy here. It's episode 9 of season 6. We're almost at the end of this show, and the show's wrap up. Deaths galore seem to happen. And that's what happens here. Tommy is absolutely fuming here, to say the least. He drops off Cash at Lakeisha's ex's house. So Cash is with his dad, and he's like, here, are you ever going to see Cash again, Tommy? Tommy's like, probably not, then leaves. Then he's confronted by Agent Rodriguez. But she kind of realizes here that Tommy wasn't the one that killed her. Then we have Ghost looking at this like apartment complex, like place with like security in it. It's a weird fucking building. But Ramona reveals that she's going to be jumping ship, and that James should also jump ship for Tate's campaign. Decide with the old white woman. That's what you've got to do, James. That is what you've got to do. But Tommy tells Ghost that everything's going to go to plan. They'll kill Jason later. But obviously, Tommy, I think he believes that Ghost is in fact the guy that's put a bullet into Lakeisha. But I don't know. I think it's almost, would Ghost go that far? I mean, I guess Tommy killed Angela, but who knows, man? There's that many deaths happening in Power. It's a wee bit crazy at this point. Ghost then sets up the meet with Jason, tells him to be there. It's like, this investment won't last long, Jason. And also, you might not be able to be strapped in there because security is extremely tight. Ghost then pays a visit to Tasha. Not much going on here. Dre then gives a phone call to Jason. He's like, right, big man, how about I come your distributor after tonight? And he's like, what? He's like, what? You mean the feds are closing in on Tommy? What's going on here, big man? Ghost then goes alone because Tasha didn't want to join him to the meeting out Tyreek at school. Nothing major going on here. But then we get Ghost and Tasha getting into a bit of a verbal debate here, and Ghost gets physical, man. He grabs her by the arm, cuts her a bit, bruises her. Yeah, so you can definitely see here that things between Tasha and Ghost, like, they've been pretty much on an edge for a while now, but they're seriously getting close to good night. And he also threatened to turn over to the cops, Ghost. And what's he do? He sends off a unanimous tip, but the raid picks up nothing. So it's all going good. It is all going good. But then Tasha's drug game's pretty much at the windy. Then the feds raid Tommy's warehouse. They've got 2-Bit and Specs and co. They see Tommy from afar, and they're like, holy fuck, Tommy sold us out. Don't know how they came to that conclusion. While this is all going down, Dre's like putting his own collection together. And then Vladimir Kozlov, who's like Jason's right-hand man, in this show tells him not to go into the building not strapped and that he's got to do something. So who knows how that is going to go down. We also had that guy that Tasha's like kind of seeing, but I don't think anybody's seeing anybody here. I mean, could this guy be used for something later in the season? But he kind of just disappears for like an episode or two at a time, so who knows. Jason then meets Ghost, but then at the last minute as they're in the elevator, which of course that's where Tommy hid the gun for Ghost, what did Jason do? He gets a text from Tommy saying that Ghost is going to kill you. They get into a fight, but Ghost manages to overpower Jason, and you know, seeing it comes to like Ghost killing people in this show, like seeing he puts his fucking his rage mode face on, like he's one serious motherfucker. It's like Jason's been around for like what, 4, 5 seasons. I don't even know at this point. And it's like this is how he gets took out in an elevator like this. All this build up for this to happen. But it turns out the guy in the lobby, Ghost, is actually paying off, and they're going to set up Dre for this kill. Tommy's like, I'm going to fucking kill you, man. I'm going to fucking kill you. Ghost then returns the truth, and he's confronted by Benny, who's like, I know it wasn't that guy you said killed Joey, Ghost, so who the fuck was it? And Ghost's like, well, you know what, big man? I think it was Tom Egan, but I can't prove shit. So obviously this is going to prompt Benny into wanting to kill Tommy, which we'll get to a bit later. But it's like, right, how many people are going to die and there'll be like no retaliation for? Like, Jason's died, right? Jason is dead. Jason is done. Jason is gone. We've seen Vladimir Klitschko in the front seat of the car. He's like, you need to take gun, Jason. You don't take gun, you might die, man. Well, he does take the gun. Oh, he doesn't take the gun, sorry, and he dies. And like, where's his crew? You're made to believe that fucking Jason's this big bad bastard. And nothing's happened, right? And spoiler alert, nothing happens in episode 10 in that regard. So, in my opinion, I think that's poor. Like, you're led to believe this guy's untouchable, and he's like, oh, if one of you kill the other one, Tommy or Ghost, then I'm going to fucking kill the other one and send their body parts to their family. Sort of talk, and it's like, right, what are you doing? Sort yourself out. Would you? But Benny, let's see what Big Benny's made of. Is he made out of beans, or is he made out of the reality? So we have Tasha sitting with Tyreek and Tommy, and this is like another weird conversation. It's like, right, Ghost has got to go. And spoiler alert, in the next episode, Tommy meets with Ghost, and he's like, yeah, I know you didn't kill Lakeisha, but I don't know. I think season 6 is kind of going off the rails. It's kind of throwing a lot at us with deaths and reveals and shit like that, but I think it's lacking substance. So, but essentially this is Tyreek and Tasha give the go-ahead to kill Ghost, and Tasha reveals to Tyreek that she's the one that killed Lakeisha, and Tyreek's like, yeah, that's alright, I'll protect you. Then the next scene, Tommy's returning home, right? Benny confronts him outside his apartment door, and he's like, you're the one that killed Joe. He's like, what the fuck? And Benny goes at him with a knife, and I say a knife, I mean the knife's smaller than fucking a pen, and they have a bit of a struggle, but Tommy manages to overpower him and stab him in the chest, and I'm sitting there thinking, this is this guy defending his cousin's honour. This is the best he could offer. To me, this is just cheap. Again, this guy dies. There's no retaliation. You know, there's nothing. Like, this guy runs an entire crew. We've seen his weight a few episodes ago when he helped save Tyreek for Vincent and co. And like, here he is, top man, hyped up, trying to defend his cousin's death, and he gets took out like a little bitch. This show's problem for me is that it overbooks some people, like, too much, and then other people just get took out like they're absolute jobbers. I mean, that is the reality. I couldn't actually believe that this Benny guy died here. I mean, I'm not saying when it comes to like a fight that Benny should beat Tommy, but at the end of the day, he fucking just... it's like a 10-second fight scene and Tommy manages to stab him. Dre then goes to meet Jason, but Ghost already sent a text out for Jason so that Dre double-crossed him, and Dre manages to escape the police. Tate and Ghost eventually here decide to cut all ties by the looks of it. And Rhonda has also officially cut the ties with Tate. She's told him to his face. Agent Rodriguez and Sachs are like, you know what? We've got one last throw of the dice. Let's go to Tasha. And then Tasha actually gives up here that Ghost probably killed Terry Silver. But even like the way she revealed it, like, Yeah, Terminal 4 at the airport here. Yeah, that's probably where he killed Terry Silver. It just seems like a very weird reveal. Which then in turn prompts them to going into the terminal, and they do find Terry Silver. So we do get finally that confirmation that I was going to say that we've all been waiting for. I mean, guess we kind of knew he was dead, to be honest. But I actually thought when they were going to open this car, it was going to blow up and kill them. That's what I actually thought. I thought it was going to be a ploy for Tasha and co, because it would have got Sax and her off the backs. But here, maybe Big Stevie thought it wrong, and they were also doing this off the books. I guess I didn't really know that, but yeah. Sax takes his phone because he doesn't want anything to do with it. He's like, you know what, actually, fuck you, buddy. That's how I'm going to do this. Dre's then panicking, obviously, with escaping, but then he whips out the phone later in the day, at night, sorry, and Sax gives Dre the phone. He's like, you plant that on St. Patrick, and I'll make sure all your stuff goes away. St. Patrick goes away. So yeah, this just gets planted by Dre, and then the episode ends with Tyreek and Ghost essentially screaming at each other. It's like Tyreek cutting all ties, I guess you could say. It feels that way. Talking about the fact, well, here, you may give me life, but you are not my father. Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you. You absolute jobber. And it was a bit of an extreme scene, but this has been coming, man. I guess we'll have to wait and see in the next episode what Tyreek and Ghost's relationship is. But it's been on the ropes for fucking seasons. Absolute seasons, man. Absolute seasons. But I'm going to give this episode, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I don't know what season 6 problem is. Like, it's killing a lot of people off, but can we just take it correctly? I don't know. Like, the Benny deaths and Jason, just didn't, neither of them sat right with me. At least Jason's fit a purpose, but like Benny's like, I'm going to avenge my cousin. 10 seconds later, he's dead. It's like, fuck, aye, well done, son. Well done to you. Anyway, guys, 6 out of 10. Till then, peace. No one can stop me. Welcome back, guys, to Par, Season 6, Episode 10. And by God, we have an episode and a half to talk you through here. Welcome back to the channel. And is it RIP Ghost, or is it simply not that? Because I tell you what, he did fall quite a height and he got shot in the chest, but Angela did get shot in the chest and she survived to like the next episode, which was this season. So I'm not too convinced that Ghost is in fact dead here. But let's just kick it off. So, you know, he's on the phone. He discovers that Walsh is going to pick St. Patrick as a running mate, the Lieutenant General. Things are looking good for him. He's loving life. Things are looking fine. Dory. Sax tells the main man, right, here you. That's how it's going down. He's like, you know what, Sax, fuck you. And then Rodriguez talks to him as well, and it's like, the cops, like, I don't understand this new guy's motives. Like, surely he's seen how dirty like St. Patrick and Egan have got and other people. It's like, is it not about time you get dirty to fucking get these guys? I can understand why Sax is so fucking pissed off. Like, honestly. Like, if this was Greg, you know, back in the day, I think Greg would have sorted these guys out, but I think he's been done pretty dirty. But Ghost has a few more hours to come up with the grind for the Queen's Child Project, and he visits this bar, and I'm like, what's this all about? And it turns out this guy's his uncle. His dad, though, passed away. He hasn't seen his uncle since the day his dad passed away. They hug, share memories, and once this scene happened and Ghost kept quoting, "No one can stop me," and the fact this episode was like 80 minutes long, I kind of thought the writing was on the wall for Ghost, and it absolutely was. Things are not looking good, but essentially here we see Sax and Rodriguez go to Tate, and Tate then, after hearing that, here, if you pretend that you've seen Tasha and Ghost arguing over Terry Silver, then we'll arrest Ghost. And obviously this lights Tate's face. I was like, yes, I as a matter of fact did hear that, but Sax obviously, he's turning dirty, Sax here, but I don't fucking blame him. I think cops have got to turn a wee bit dirty in order to get something done, man. That's just the reality of things, and that's exactly how this goes down. Ghost, you know, seeing him here with Hard Stern, I'm fucking shocked this Hard Stern guy has actually, you know, lasted this entire show. I seriously am. Ghost has some flashbacks this episode and visions. He sees Angela looking as hot as ever. Wee Angela. He then goes to see Fimona, kisses her. He's like, right, we can make this official, but not in the public eye. Then as he's meeting her in truth, Rodriguez raids his apartment. They find the boots that they think he wore during the murder of Terry Silver, and also they find a phone which belongs to Terry Silver. Tommy then appears at Ghost's like campaign speech at Truth, but Tommy did not really appear this episode. We then see a car following Ghost. He goes to Raina's grave. It's the first time he's been to Raina's grave ever. And then he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" We turn around. It's Tasha. And Tasha's like, "I come here every week." These two have a bit of a slabbering match, and essentially what this boils down to is that Ghost wants Tariq now to turn himself in. It just seems like a very questionable decision to me. Tate then appears, and Ghost is like, "You know what? I'm a fucking winner, Tate. You're a serial loser. Fuck you. Goodbye. You're welcome to come to the party later." And like already in this episode, Ghost is already creating like so many more, enemies. Tariq appears at Truth. He brings Dre with him. Dre's like, "Well, you know what, Ghost? You set me up for Jason's kill. I want $250,000 in order to leave New York, and you will never have to see me again." Ghost's like, "You know what, Dre? You're just a wannabe gangster. You're a fucking little bitch. You come crawling back like a little bitch. You're a little bitch." So yeah, Dre. Now Tommy then text Ghost, "We need to meet." And I didn't like this scene between these two. I think the Tommy and Ghost scenes are seriously going off the rails recently. So they meet. Ghost Tommy's like, "I know you didn't kill Lakeisha, but it doesn't make it right." And Ghost's like, "You know what? We're brothers, man. I know Kanan said there's no friends in the streets, but we're brothers. I know I made you kill Holly and fucking your daddy, but it's okay." And then they start getting shot out of nowhere, right? And then like Tommy runs off into the warehouse. Ghost sees like boots on the floor, thinking, "Oh, is Tommy dead? Is Tommy dead?" He then like walks over to this dead body, and it's like, "Who's this gonna be, damn it?" And it's just this fucking random black guy with a bit of stubble and a beanie on. Right. And I'm looking here, is that possibly his uncle? I mean, honestly, I've fucking no idea. But yeah, what purpose did this scene do? Apart from give like Tommy and Ghost one last scene, if Ghost is dead, I didn't like this scene. I thought it sucked. Personally, it just didn't need to be in there. Anyway, we then have like a sit down with the FBI, the police. Essentially, I realise here that we need to work together to bring down Ghost and St. Patrick, because if we try and bring down Sachs, that's going to look bad on all of us. So yeah, let's retract all our statements here and sort this out. Dre then gets arrested because, of course, Ghost set him up. Not looking good. Ghost then confronts Vincent. He puts a few plays in there, motion, so he can pull a couple of strings in Albany. Paz then confronts Ghost, and he's like, "Who the fuck? I know you didn't kill Angela, but you know who did. Tell me." And Ghost refuses to tell. So another person who you want to kill, Rhonda's like, "Who are you talking to there?" He's like, "Oh, it's just my ex, love of my life, sister, player." Ghost then goes to meet with Tasha in their apartment. Another argument here between these two, just like fucking the good old days. And she's like, "I hope I never see you again. Fuck you, Ghost." Again, everyone he's meeting with this episode, and he keeps quoting, "No one can stop me now." He then goes into Raina's room and he sees flashbacks of Raina. We get to see Raina. Raina is back. Raina is back, damn it. He then has a scene with Tariq, and Tariq can't believe that he's fucking jobbing him out. He's like, "You promised me that you would take the fall, and now here you are, wanting to send one of your few remaining children to jail." He's like, "You're a fucking little bitch, Dad." I can kind of see Tariq's point of view, but at the end of the day, he's the one that committed the crime, isn't he? But then the police, they take it to the head judge in order to get these guys sorted out here for St. Patrick, all the evidence, the phone, Terry Silver. It's not enough. So Rodriguez decides to go to Dre, and Dre then testifies that he was there alongside St. Patrick. And it's like, yeah, is that how it's going to go for Dre? But again, as soon as they're close to getting a witness and killing someone, what happens? It's absolutely bang, bang, good night. 2-bit and Specs then receive a phone call in jail. Ghost wants them essentially to do something. So how's that going to go down? How is that going to go down? Then a few people get told that James St. Patrick ain't going to be getting brought to justice. Tate and Paz. And it's like, right, so who's going to kill Ghost? Who's going to kill St. Patrick? I tell you what, Tommy did nothing this episode. Is he perfect like garbage filler scene that he had with Ghost? He absolutely did nothing, man. Absolutely did nothing. Just a really poor episode for Tommy, I guess. Then we get the finale of this episode.
Sax realising that he's going to go to jail, but these bastards are going to get off scot-free, so he goes, gets his gun. Kanan then appears in Ghost's flashback. He's like, no one can fucking trust you, man. And he's like, yep, you're a street thug, Ghost. Good to see Kanan again. And yeah, Ghost then starts to power down. Truth, sorry. Then we see like everyone's point of view. I'm like, is this going to be a case of who done it? We see Tommy, we see Paz, we see Tate, we see Sax, we see Tyreek, we see Tasha. Fuck, there's probably a few more people. If I said Tate, there's just so many people that want Ghost dead. And then he goes to his wee balcony bit. Rodriguez gets out her car with a search warrant. Hears a gunshot go off. And damn, we cut back to Truth. Ghost has been shot in the chest. He falls off the balcony. Bang, bang, good night. Who's killed Ghost? And honestly, I've really no idea who. I think you can kind of narrow it down. I think if it was going to be like Tommy, they would have done that on screen. I don't think it's Paz. I don't think it's Sax. I don't think it's Tate. I just don't think it's Dre. Part of me thinks Tyreek. But also part of me thinks that it might be someone we've never seen before. Or someone who we didn't see during this montage and therefore we weren't really led to believe it's them. We'll have to wait and see, but is Ghost dead? Really looking forward to watching the next episode. I mean, it's a massive character death if he is, sadly. But it's a bit weird, though, that they've killed this guy off with 5 episodes to go, because he's like the centrepiece of this show. I just don't really see how this gets wrapped up. Maybe he's not dead. Who knows? But yeah, pretty insane if he is, guys. Sorry, I've got COVID, so if I don't sound all that enthusiastic, that's why. I'm fucking snookered, to say the least. But I'm going to give this episode a 7 out of 10. I really like the aspect of a whodunit. You know, I haven't really seen that quite a lot in, proper TV shows, but I think honestly, that Tommy Ghost scene, that did nothing for me. It was weird. Absolutely weird. Anyway, guys, 7 out of 10. Till next time. Peace.
Still D to the R till the E. Welcome back, guys, to another edition of Par. And first of all, I would actually like to issue an apology to Par. Last episode, I was like, right, hold on here. How's there been no retaliation from the Serbs? And what about BG? We just forgot he's dead. Turns out they kind of accounted for all that and discussed all that in this episode. And I really enjoy. I think this is my favorite episode of the season. It was like a flashback episode and it pieced everything together. And there's a lot to get through. But yeah, was it the best idea to do this episode right after Ghost had died? Because we do find out in this episode he's dead. Maybe not. I don't know. It seems weird. It seems like a very weird placement. Even though obviously Ghost's death factored into this, but at the same time, I think considering there was only 5 episodes to go after the last episode, maybe I don't know. But I also do feel like Dre got dragged out a wee bit too much. I think he should have died in season 5. But anyway, let's get into this episode because we start this episode with Dre and he's with his kid and his girl, right? His girlfriend, his baby mama. She's English, right? And I do not understand this accent. 1 minute it's going between English and New York. I don't know if it's put on or if it's someone that's literally English but obviously been in America for a little bit and can't really differentiate between the two. Not really too honest. I'm not really too sure, sorry, what's going on there. But immediately I kind of realised, oh wait, this episode is solely about Dre. This episode is about Dre. Because I thought by the episode title it was going to be called Dre. But called Dre about Dre, and that's exactly what it was. I was kind of a bit surprised though there was a flashback episode because we've seen on the news here that Ghost was going to run as Inspector General, whatever the hell it means. So he goes and confronts Sax, and obviously I realised when Dre confronted Sax, this was definitely a flashback episode. And Dre's like, "You got to sort this out." He's like, "You're a bitch ass, Sax." I'm surprised Dre hasn't killed Sax already at this stage. Dre then meets with Primaris. This guy just got out of jail, and the rest of these jobbers. And then out of nowhere, the Serbs. Vladimir Kozlov shows up out of nowhere. We get into a bit of a shootout. Jay then uses the guy to go out of jail as a human shield. He manages to fight his way out the building. He gets shot again. Dre surviving these situations that he really shouldn't be surviving, but he does.
Vladimir Kozlov, though, he absolutely. So I think he's the only. I think Dre and Vladimir Kozlov are the only two that actually survived this entire shootout. To be honest, Dre gets shot in the arm. He manages to get patched up, and he's like, "Right, I've just got to get money and ID, baby, to get us out of the country." And like the whole episode was literally about Dre, and I didn't. But it's a weird one. Like Dre is a big character, but does he deserve like a full flashback dedicated episode to him about this? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. And I say dedicated to Dre. I guess a bit of it was dedicated to Two Bit and Spanky, which I really liked. Essentially here, though, Two Bit does not give anything up, but Spanky does give up the fact that Tommy killed Poncho in order for a deal. But he doesn't let on about that. I don't blame him. See, to be honest, like I don't agree with any form of snitching, but you can see why. You can definitely see why he has. Like he feels like Tommy's fucking jobbed him out, and of course Tommy's jobbed him out, man. But Rodriguez is doing these investigations. Dre then confronts his mother, tries to get money out of her, but she gets like, "Nah, you're a demon, son. You're a demon." We'll see her later on in the episode, but yeah, I mean, where we went this woman from. So essentially, what we see here though is Dre trying to get help off people. He goes to Tasha. She's like, "Right, yeah, I'll get you 50K," and he's like, "Ha ha 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 ha, not a chance." He then goes to Tate. Tate wants a favor though. He meets with Tyreek, and it's like, "All right, Tyreek, mate, all you can do is get me that meeting with your father." Gets the meeting with Ghost, and then we see pretty much how that conversation went in the last episode. But it was here where Dre talks about the Serbs wiped out all his Primaris. It's almost like they altered last episode's conversation, like because I don't remember him actually talking about this. Like I remember the scene, but I don't remember the line about the Serbs wiped out his Primaris. So I take that back, guys. But I just feel it weird that after Jason died, it's took to this point to find out about all that, and then also BG. We don't even find out about that till later in the episode. But yeah, like I said, we've already seen this scene before. So is Ghost going to get Dre his money? Of course he's not. But Dre thinks he is, and he ends up getting arrested, which is quite funny. And then, which we see, of course, at this point, he's thrown into Gen Pop with, well, I say Gen Pop, yeah, basically it's Gen Pop. He's thrown into Gen Pop with Two Bit and Spanky Ghost. This when we see the phone call get to Two Bit and Spanky. They're going to kill him, but then as soon as he's about to get killed, he gets took into questioning by Rodriguez, and he manages to get out, and they're like, "Holy fuck, how did that work? That's just not right, man. How has that worked? They've been screwed. Two Bit and Spanky here. Absolutely shafted." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Dre's actually managed to escape these two. It's a joke. Dre gets to live another day. Dre, Two Bit gangster." Two Bit, I think he is becoming a little bit suspicious of Spanky, but once they see Dre is gone, Two Bit actually phones Tommy and lets him know that, right, Dre's outside. We didn't rat on you. Tommy's like, "Yeah, one of you's dead because why there's a lot of hate over this Poncho death all of a sudden." And then Two Bit kind of looks at Spanky and said, "Wonder if he did." Now, this is the only time Tommy actually appeared in this episode, right? The next part of this episode was ridiculous. So the FBI are escorting Dre to the safe house, and he's like, "I need a piss." And then he's like, "You don't need to watch me, man." And then as soon as he gets out of sight, he runs off. The FBI, I refuse to believe they'd be this fucking stupid. I'm not saying they would. I actually think pulling over the car they wouldn't even do. They'd be like, "Sure, just piss yourself in the back seat," right? But here we have it. That it actually lets him get out a few and escapes. Ridiculous. Dre manages to escape. Breaks into his mother's house. He shares like one final conversation with her. Well, at least we thought at this point. He takes the gun off her. I think he's going to shoot her, but he doesn't. He then goes to Tate. He gets the fake IDs and all that good stuff. Then 50K. Then Tate's like, "You kill St. Patrick, you get your 50K. The other 50K, so 100 G's in total, but only 50 up front." But he got the fake ID, so it's all looking good. But then his girlfriend's like, "You don't need to kill Ghost. You don't need to kill him. You can go." He's like, "Fuck it, nah, I need to. This is personal. This is personal." So Dre pulls up outside Truth. He goes through the back door, but as he enters, a gunshot goes off. So we now know that Dre didn't, in fact, kill Ghost. But I said that. I said it wouldn't have been Tommy or Dre. For the simple fact is, they just... I think if one of them killed Ghost, it would have been on screen. I just think so. And as he's leaving, he runs into Rodriguez, hits her a punch, and then as he pulls up to the lights in the car, he spots Tommy, and then as the bus goes past, Tommy disappears. And then
Then he pulls into a garage, and he sees on the news that St. Patrick's dead. So this is the confirmation that we see. So St. Patrick's dead. He buys a soda. He buys a packet of crisps. He buys a wee teddy bear for his daughter, and then like it starts going in slow motion, with, like happy music, and his like girlfriend and daughter watching him. And I was expecting at this point Tommy just to walk up and drop him, or someone, anyone. Turns out no, he just gets arrested, and I was like, is Drace maybe Drace going to get just jail time for the St. Patrick kill? Maybe that's what's going to happen. He then has one final visit from his daughter and his mum, and his girlfriend. His mum's basically rubbing it in here, like, yeah, I'm going to look after them, Demon Dre. And he's like, you gotta get me out of here. So yeah, Dre, his worst nightmare has came true. He then manages to fight his way in to getting locked in the hole. He's in solitary confinement for a week, but even that couldn't save him because 2-Bit and Spanky end up killing him. And yeah, the end of Dre. Essentially, what this is, they fill up his cell with flammable fluids. They squirt him in it, and he's like, "You were crispy, motherfucker!" And he just throws the lighter in. Dre's begging for his life, like a little bitch. I mean, I'm not saying most people wouldn't here, but I mean, could he not have owned his death? Like, I do like the Dre character, but I just don't know how you're supposed to feel. So he's a cop killer. He's literally turned on everyone. I just can't feel sorry for him. I'm actually glad he's dead. He is a scumbag. He's like, I think you can be a criminal, but you know, you can be in it for the right things and all that sort of stuff. But this guy was in it for all the wrong things. And yeah, 2-Bit and Spanky killed Dre. So after what I think Dre was in this show, so season 2 onwards. So Dre is dead. It's Andre Coleman, big massive death. I thought maybe he could have just did a life sentence for Ghost's death, murder, and maybe we could have seen him in one of the spin-offs. But nope, Dre is dead. They dedicate a full episode to him, like I said, and then the episode ends with 2-Bit essentially finding that Spanky made a deal. Then we cut the Spanky's getting interviewed by Rodriguez, and then we see Paz talking to Rodriguez. So yeah, Spanky officially rats. I don't really blame him. He's like, yeah, well, he's a real G, 2-Bit, but I'm a free man. So maybe Paz killed Rodriguez. No, sorry, Paz killed Ghost, and she's going to Rodriguez. I don't think it's Paz. I would be fucking shocked if it's Paz, to be honest. I think Tyreek is, or like I said at the time, someone we haven't seen in that montage at the end of episode 10. Anyway, guys, R.I.P. Andre. Great wee flashback episode. Maybe I'll take back what I said about it was weird seeing him get a full episode dedicated to himself, because I like the fact that pieced in the missing points of the last few episodes and all that good stuff. So anyway, guys, but I just hope the rest of the season doesn't do that. I think there's really no need for that. I hope episode 12 begins with like the aftermath of Ghost's death and like Dre going to jail and dying, and 2-Bit still being in jail and all that crazy stuff, and also Tommy, Tyreek's, Tasha's reactions to Ghost being dead, because he is dead, guys, officially. Jamie St. Patrick is no more. So until next time, 9 out of 10 for me. Best episode of the season. And aye, peace. He always wins. Welcome back, guys, to season 6, episode 12 of Power. And I wasn't really a fan of this episode. And maybe, that is solely down to Paz. Because, right, I said last episode, I didn't expect Dre to literally get a full episode to himself, but he did. And then I was thinking, what are they gonna do for the rest of this show? Are we gonna like get that for like a lot of characters, like in the last 5, or are we just simply gonna go back to the normal format, dedicate an episode to Dre? And this episode dedicated a full one to Paz. I'm sorry, she just ain't a character that should have got a full episode. Half an episode. Yeah, if you want to wrap her up, fair enough. But honestly, man, this episode just went on and on. It just dragged in, like showing you Paz not wanting to kill him. Now there was a few cool things in this episode, like we've seen Ghost and Dream flashbacks. We get the return of Paz and Angela's father. We see how it's affected them. And our son Junior as well. We see. I mean, it was all right, but to dedicate a full episode to Paz, I just didn't get it. And another thing I thought it ruined. It's like, it wasn't just
Paz. Like, we did see the return of Mac in this, and we've seen Warner speaking to him. And essentially, what we're seeing is everything come down. Like, there was a few good things, like I've talked about. We've seen the Democratic Party confront Warner and get him fired for getting involved with Ghost, because of course he was attorney general, and it just shows you that crooked Democratic Party, isn't it? That crooked Democratic Party, man. Then what they have to do, man, absolutely disgusting. We're Donald Trump here on Fog Entertainment. But if you vote Democratic, then so be it. But what I like about this, you got Angela's body being exhumed to get the phone and the evidence, but of course, it's destroyed. The SIM card is destroyed. I'm not wait, how would the SIM card be destroyed? It's not like the body got cremated. The phone was just in the coffin. Like, how long's it been since Angela died? A couple of months? How would the SIM card inside the phone get destroyed? Can someone explain that? That makes no sense to me. I do not understand that for the slightest, but anyway, they can't use it. It's the text only went to people she was texting. We don't know who it is. Paz then agrees to wear a wire. There's numerous conversations where she confronts Tasha. You needs to die. She then pulls up at Tommy's house. You need to kill him. You need to kill Ghost. Tommy's like, no, I'm not doing that. You said you'd do anything for Angela at her funeral. She then tries to kill Ghost at Truth, but doesn't. Then she learns about it on the news. And then essentially what this episode ends with is her crying. A lot of crying here for Paz. Her father, he's finally found out that Angela's dead. Angela's dead. Breaking news. Jamie St. Patrick's dead. What? Holy moly, what is going on here? Absolutely insane stuff. They then have to go see a lawyer because Ghost actually left them a lot of money, but she refuses. Then she runs into Tasha, and again, it's like we're seeing Tasha's reaction here to Ghost dying. Like, not the raw reaction that I think we deserve. Like, considering Ghost is the main character and was the main character, and for me always will be of par, I would have liked to have seen people's raw reaction to his death, but in this case, we're not seeing that. We're seeing like the second-hand reaction, and then Tasha tells Paz that Tommy was the one that killed Angela, and it's like, what? Like, even right now, obviously the episode ends with Paz going to Tommy's apartment and Tommy's not there, so I'm going to assume in the next 3 episodes we're going to see how all this works together, and we're going to see how Tommy has fled to I think it's Chicago or whatever, right? Obviously with like the ratting that's going on within his organisation. But let's just say that is right and that is correct. That's still a pretty big thing for Tasha just to reveal. Honestly, it seems like all shit's spiraling out of control here. But it was 58 minutes this episode, and it's just with Paz, and it's like she is nothing more and will always be Angela's sister. I think to give her a full episode's a waste, and Tommy's left, so hopefully in the next 3 episodes we go back to like the main characters, because Paz ain't the main character, man. And it's not like the episode was bad, it's just we're in the dying embers of this show. I feel like we seriously need to see something here. That's just my opinion. Anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. Big Stevie Cool signing out, and until next time, short review, but like I said, not much happening. Just Paz's step. Like a lot of shit happened in the Dre episode. So I'm going to give this episode, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I think for like the final couple of episodes of the show, in the aftermath of Ghost's death, it was a severe letdown. Is a 5 too harsh? No, I just think this final season's been up and down. But I do have a feeling that the show's going to turn it around in these final 3 episodes after this. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. Till next time, Fog Entertainment signing out. We're back very soon with more content. Of course, we've got the spin-offs coming up as well, but until then, peace. It's time to see Tommy Egan's perspective of offence, guys. Welcome back to par, welcome back to another review, and it is the 3rd last episode of the original series. We've got It's All Your Fault. We kick off this episode, Tommy getting rid of BG's body and the car, pays the guy off, life is going great here. His mum then picks him up, she takes him home. He's talking about how things have went kind of crazy with him and Ghost recently, and you see that his mum Kate here is, she's always had that bit of relationship with Ghost, but I think towards the end of this episode, it's almost like, here, that's kind of come out of nowhere with the fact she like treats him like his proper son character. Then we cut to Lisa Marie and her aunt, who was the sister of Benny, but of course Benny's dead, so now Lisa Marie is being looked after by this woman. And then, yeah, what we see here is Vincent arrives at the door, and Vincent is worried because Benny's missing, and we're all kind of worried at this point because Benny's missing, but Benny is, of course, dead because Tommy killed him. But now it looks like the murder of Benny's being put on Vincent, so he's put two guys on the door to guard from Tommy, so to speak. So yeah, at this point it's not looking good. Lisa Marie's in listening to the recording that Proctor had of Tommy killing Ruiz, and also I think it was the Lobos kill as well. I don't know, man. It's just a lot of, the stuff that could incriminate Tommy Egan. Our aunt hears this, and then we flash to a scene where they go to Tyreek to confirm if it's Tommy's voice. Obviously he knows it's Tommy, but he denies that. But our aunt calls Tyreek out in her shit. And of course, Tyreek then tells Tommy. And then Tommy finds out the address. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, how quickly do these guys find out about witnesses? It's incredible. I mean, in this sense, right, it makes sense that Tyreek would tell Tommy. Of course he's going to tell Tommy. It makes no sense for him not to tell Tommy. He has to tell Tommy. The only option is Tommy. Rodriguez then confronts the main guy, Tommy Egan, damn it. And yeah, I mean, I bet. You know what, right? Obviously, Ghost died a few episodes ago. And part of me's really enjoyed, like, this gimmick of, like, certain characters getting a hell of a lot of focus on these episodes. But at the same time, it's almost weird. Because I feel like it's just a weird way to end the show. Like, it'd be almost different if it was, like, going into the last season, but I thought with Ghost dying, it was early to kill him because you had 5 episodes to go, but it turns out that, like, all these episodes are simply based around, like, other people's events in the build-up to Ghost's death and, like, a wee bit of aftermath afterwards. Now, the only thing I would say that excites me a bit for the spin-offs, it seems like these spin-offs might, like, I know one's a prequel of Kanan, but the other two, it looks like they're literally going to just take place straight after the events of this show ends. So that excites me. I don't really like spin-offs that take place like years after, and maybe like a lot of the aftermath that should have took place in this original show will take place in the start of some of the other spin-offs. But at the same time, it just seems, I don't know, it's a weird concept they've went for. It's definitely a Hail Mary, so to speak, to like focus on so many characters. Like, here, I thought Dre warranted an episode. I don't think Paz did. Tommy absolutely does, right? I've watched the next episode with Rashad Tate. I think because of how much focus he's had, I can almost accept that. But I almost think you could maybe fit him and Paz into the same episode, to be honest. But here, that's just Big Stevie Cool thinking out loud with some wishful thinking. Tommy then receives some like items back that belong to Lakeisha, and he discovers the earring that Holly stole for Tasha, so he knows that was not Lakeisha's. And guess what happens? He confronts Tasha, and she admits to killing Lakeisha, and now Tommy is going to kill Tasha, but then he spares her for whatever reason. We don't really know whatever reason he spared her for here. Tommy then goes to talk to Ghost. We have seen this like shoot out, it feels like, a million times at this point, and at this point we have no idea who was shooting at them, but we do find out in the next episode, but I'll just save it for then. But like I said at the time, like in episode 10, it just felt like a really weird shootout. Tommy and Ghost are getting shot at, but we see Tommy's perspective. He runs into the building, drops a guy, and he's like, wait a minute, you're not Italian. It turns out it's this old black guy. So Tommy obviously thought it was Elisa Marie's Uncle Carlo, because Carlo is a big scary man. Absolutely a big scary man. Top man. I thought it would have been him, and Tommy thought it would have been him. But Tommy then goes to the house where Elisa Marie's being kept. He kills 2 of Vincent's guys, and then he kidnaps Lisa Marie. And honestly, see, at this point, I thought Lisa Marie might have been a goner. She admits that the tape is on the laptop, so he takes the laptop. And when he kidnaps her, takes her back to her place, and then Kate arrives, and she's freaking out that Tommy's kidnapped the kid. I mean, rightfully so. Lisa Marie, Vincent, and Uncle Carlo, they're in arguing. Carlo essentially then puts the blame
on Vincent, saying, if anything happens to my granddaughter, I'm going to fucking kill you, so I want you to deliver the man that's kidnapped her. Tommy, Egan, then we see Kate bonding a little bit with Elisa Marie, and she kind of hears from Kate that Ghost is in fact James St. Patrick, which is quite good. And then we see at this point when Tommy returns home, it's actually when Paz confronted him in the apartment last episode, and now it makes sense why Tommy was acting so vigilant, because you actually had Elisa Marie and Kate hiding in the back room. So I did like that. Tommy, Elisa Marie are driving. You know, really good acting from this kid here. Normally kids like let themselves down in these sort of shows, but she did really good here. I really liked the scenes confronting Tommy about life and shit. It's like, was my daddy a bad man? He's like, yes, he was. Proctor was a dirty motherfucker. And then also she reveals that I did actually hear him let my mother die and all that crazy malarkey, man. Absolutely mental. We also see 2-Bit phone Tommy, which of course we've seen. He then drops off Elise Marie. So, I mean, Tommy does have a heart. I'm not denying that he doesn't. But honestly, I wouldn't have ruled it out him killing this kid. Like, if he had no other option, he would. I mean, I guess in certain situations, most people would. To be honest, Tommy then confronts Tyreek, and he's like, I need to save your dad. Because he's kind of realised with the talking with Elisa Marie that Ghost ain't the guy who killed Lakeisha, and obviously he's found out for Tasha, so now he wants to save him from Dre, and he's like, I'm going to have to kill Dre, but Tariq's like, nah, fuck it, Tommy, I ain't helping you save my dad's life, he deserves to die, and then as Tommy's heading to truth, he gets confronted by Vincent and his goons, like, and at this point, he's completely and utterly outnumbered, and he just kills them all. Like, I get it, Tommy's like one of the main characters, they can overbook him a bit, but he just literally wiped out like 10 members of the mob, and then battered Vincent to a pulp, who actually had the gun on the back of Tommy's head. Quite incredible, to say the least. And then he finally gets in. He hears the gunshot. He gets into truth. And we see Ghosts. Like, Ghost is final moments. Tommy's there. Ghost is still alive. He's like, hey, bro, it's okay. And then the killer ain't quite revealed. But Tommy went to shoot them, and Ghost said, no, it's all right, Tommy, don't shoot them. So who is the killer? No idea who the killer is. I mean, was it Tyreek? Was it Tasha? Could it be? I mean, it's not Sax, right? It has to be someone who Tommy just wouldn't kill. Who could it be? Honestly. What? Tommy couldn't believe it, and he had like a face like thunder. I don't think it's Tyreek. It could be Tyreek. Will it be? I don't. You know what? I'm really intrigued because they are going to reveal it in the finale who it was, right? But who the hell is it going to be? Ghost then dies in Tommy's arms, and it was quite a sad scene, seeing Ghost die. Tommy then returns, and Kate's like accusing Tommy of murdering Ghost, and essentially at this point it's all over. It's good night. Kate cuts ties. She's like, he was a real son to me. You weren't, Tommy. It's like, hold on, he wasn't even your son. Tommy then gets a new car. He phones 2-Bit, and he's like, you're a good motherfucker, 2-Bit. Me and you are good. I'll see you in 20 years. But obviously, he learned about Spanky. And what does he do? He kills Spanky. We get one final scene here. Spanky's like, hey, man, it was either do that time or, you know, I thought it was you fucking snitch, homie. And then Spanky's like, well, where are you heading? He's like, but if I tell you, I'm going to have to kill you, Spanky. He's like, California. Hell. And then just shoots Spanky. So Spanky's dead. He then pays a visit to Elisa Marie. And, you know, it looks like Tommy's going to leave here in his new car. And then he stands on the copy of the recording, and then as he's leaving, she then decides to give him the only other remaining copy, which in the lock, and he's like, you're a cool kid, you had it on you this whole time, smart motherfucker. He leaves, he drives in his car, he sees the bridge, he hears on the news, of course, that like Ghost is dead, and I believe like Tate's running. Was it Tate running? I can't remember what he heard on the radio, but that is it, guys. I really enjoyed this episode, just like the Dre one, because like I said, I just don't think Paz deserved an episode to herself, but Tommy and Dre, Tommy absolutely, of everyone left in this show, he deserved it, and I think the finale is going to be given to Tyreek and Tasha. I think that's who it's going to be based off, and we'll probably get Sax as well wrapped up in there, and we'll have to wait and see, guys. But anyway, really good episode. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Ending strong here with Paul. I mean, I think the Paz episode, she just didn't need it, man. Like an hour of Paz, really. Anyway, till next time, 9 out of 10. Peace. time to spin that wheel of fortune, but for Par's penultimate episode, it's the reversal of fortune. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It is season 6, episode 14 of Par, as we edge close to the finale of this show. We've only got 2 more episodes to review, and we're going to have to start off with the penultimate one. And essentially, this one is based surrounding the campaign trail with Tate, Ghost, etc. It wraps it all up here, and you know what Paul reminds me of? It's like a more polished version of The Wire. I didn't mind The Wire, but I thought The Wire did a pretty good job of diving into like politics and the behind the scenes of cities and law enforcement and the criminal gang organisations, all that good stuff. I think Paul does like a New York version of The Wire, but I do prefer Paul. I mean, you've just got better actors. It's better actors. No, I think The Wire feels more real, while Par feels more like a TV show. But here, if you're watching a TV show, I want to feel a TV show. I don't want to, simply make things just pure 110% feel real. Like, I think, you look at the best TV shows, I think for me they feel like a TV show. I look at Breaking Bad, it definitely feels more like a TV show rather than like the authentic real life world that goes on. Now, some people prefer completely 100% of authenticity, but for me, I like some of that manufactured drama, and I think Potter definitely leans more towards that. But for this episode, we're focusing on Rashad Tate. He's drunk, we get introduced to his family, he wakes up. Essentially, his family, his brother, he's a cop. Tate used to be a cop. We've got his nephew, who he's not allowed to swear around, and you've got his sister-in-law. And essentially, we've got Tate at the start of this episode. It's rock bottom. He's fell off the campaign trail. Ghost essentially took his spot. He will not be campaigning for any sort of governorship, man. It's not happening. He sees the news report. He swears like, that motherfucker. He's like, hey, don't be swearing in front of the kid there. Do not be doing that. We're then introduced to these two father and son tag team hitmen here. And these are the old man, the old black man. That's the guy Tommy killed back in episode 10. But we didn't actually see it until episode 13. And again, as much as I've liked this whodunit of who shot Ghost, it's did we really need to we've just seen the same scenes repeated over the past 5 episodes, and here I like whodunits. I think whodunits, if done right, can be really, really well done. And I think this whodunit is really well done, but I think we can maybe ease off on seeing the same scenes 6 times in the past 5 episodes a wee bit. What do I think of this father and son combo? I mean, there's not really much I think about them. Tate hires them to kill Ghost, and then he backs out. He doesn't want them to do it because the Democratic Party's getting involved. Those damn Democrats. We can't have Ghost getting whacked now. There's too much heat, but they're like, fuck it. We drove all the way up here for Oklahoma, so we want paid. And Tate's then backed into their corner because they simply say, right, either we kill you for not paying us to do a job, or else we do the job, you pay us, and he's dead. So Tate essentially agrees to this. And he kind of turns to God for a bit in this episode, so it looks like he's all good. Then we see all the different scenarios that have happened. Obviously, a couple of episodes ago, we've seen Agent Rodriguez and Sax go to him. Now we see his perspective of that conversation. And again, I like shows when they do this to a degree where you see somebody else's perception of this conversation or scene. But I think, to actually carry it out over a combined total of 5 episodes with a runtime therefore of about 5 hours, even probably a bit more than that because these are extended episodes towards the end. I don't know if it's a wee bit necessary, but they're following Ghost, these two, and then they get into a shootout with Ghost and Tommy. The son of the group manages to escape, but of course the father dies. And then we see the scene where Tommy's like, you ain't fucking Italian. Because he's black. Of course he's not Italian. He is black. Then we see Tate, loads of different conversations. He's speaking with Dre. He's setting that side deal up. But yeah, again, we've seen that back in episode 11. Then he's speaking to Tasha. We haven't really seen this side of it, but we will see it in the finale to a degree. And then the son of the father and son duo confronts Tate, but then Tate's older brother drops him, and he's like, right, something's fishy's going on here because we don't get any crime in this neighbourhood, so what the fuck have you brought to my front lawn? Tate. Things are falling apart for Tate, though, at this stage of the game. His brother's then giving him, a ride along to the police station so he can give a statement on this guy that's been killed. But as he's there giving his statement, what happens. I'll tell you what happens. Ghost is killed. Obviously, with Tate being at the police station, that rules him out of killing Ghost. So we now know we can now tick another name off the board about who killed Ghost. He then tries to get like a better view for himself as they pull up at Truth, the nightclub. But then as he gets there, he has to pull his hood down, and then he's interviewed on live TV, and he gives this like big speech. And now, obviously, with Ghost being dead, we don't get any sort of reveal about who done it, so we're probably gonna have to wait for the finale for that. But yeah, he gives a big speech, and then the Democratic Party appear, and essentially he puts all his cards on the table. He says, "You know what? I don't want Lieutenant Governor anymore. I want to be the governor. I'm not being your number two, old white woman. You wanted Ghost, now you want me, simply just to get the black vote? Well, fuck you. I want to be the governor, because the Democratic Party now needs me more than it needs you." Which she kind of laughs off, but then, like, her advisor guy, whatever, he's like, "You know what? Tate's got a point here, so we need him more than we need you. Fuck off, old white woman." So Tate essentially becomes governor of New York. That's how we spend the last 10 minutes of this interview. Here's all this good stuff. Of course, he did tell his brother about Andre Coleman, and he reveals to him that Andre Coleman's dead. But again, we found out Andre Coleman was dead in episode 11, so we're seeing, yes, again, different perceptions of how people have reacted to this news. He then meets with Simon Stern, and he's like, "Oh, Simon, you jobbed me out, man. You wanted to go with the old white woman." He's like, "Well, yes, Tate, I go with the winners. Fuck you, buddy." Tate's then crying a bit about that. He then throws like Ramona completely under the bus, saying that she had an affair with Ghost St. Patrick, or James St. Patrick, Ghost, whatever. Aye, him, the drug dealer. So yeah, she's basically will not be able to get a job. I kind of feel sorry for Ramona, because she's not like a bad person. Tate, I wouldn't say Tate's a bad person. He's just a politician. They're all scum of the earth. So therefore he is a bad person. But they would all do what they have to do to get to a higher level of power. In this episode, he starts it at the bottom of the barrel. At the end of it, he is the governor of New York. And I kind of felt sorry for him throughout the episode, especially when you see like his family. And essentially what this episode ends with, he's top of the world. He's looking out over New York in his apartment. And then he turns on the news to a news report of the killer of Jamie St. Patrick has been revealed. And he's like, holy shit. We don't get to see who it is, but we do know that the killer's been revealed. So tune in to the series finale to find out who the killer will be. And I don't know how long the finale is going to be. I'm looking forward to it. Who's the killer going to be? I honestly, at this point, I think the last few episodes have ruled quite a lot of people out. But I think it makes sense for it to be Tyreek. It doesn't really make much, or Tasha. We know it's not Tommy. We've seen that last episode. He's seen the killer. We know it's not going to be Sax, right? Because I just don't understand why Sax would do it. Like, yes, he's drunk and he was heading there, but I mean, he'd probably end up dropping the gun or something and shooting himself before he'd shoot Ghost. And I can't really think anyone else that would do it. And besides, we've got spin-offs, so I think the show's going to bear that in mind. But I think it's done a good job of dragging this out. But again, did Tate really need a full episode to himself? I think you could have combined this with Paz's episode. I think you really could have done that. But anyway, guys, I'm going to give this episode a 7 out of 10. With only one more episode to go for this tipsy-turvy final season of Power. Looking forward to how it wraps up. But until next time, peace.
The day of the series finale of Power has arrived. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is time for exactly how we planned. It is the series finale of Power. It's quite incredible. We've got through this show. I mean, obviously, if you were watching it back to back without reviewing it, you could probably get through it in like 2 weeks or two or whatever. But for me, it's been a grind and a half, I'll let you know, because we've had to go through it, man. There's been a lot of episodes, there's been a lot of deaths, there's been a lot of bloodshed. But finally, we are here with the final episode of Power. Because it's a big rich town. Minute, and I'm going to make it. How were they going to wrap this up? Well, I'm telling you how they're going to wrap this up. Let's begin, shall we? At the start of this episode, we've got Tasha, our new boyfriend, so to speak. I can't name it. Quentin, I think this guy's name is. It's like, what significance is this guy going to play? Who knows? But, I mean, this is the series finale, bear in mind, right? And it's like, we just had a lot more of what we've had in the previous episodes, like repeating the exact same scenes that we've already seen, but from different people's perspective. Tyreek, he's sitting there wearing his do-rag, trying to pretend to be a wee bit more gangster. And I've watched, obviously, I mean, I'm reviewing this episode, of course I've watched it. But like I went in and went on Google and like went on Reddit and seen what people thought, and like people think like the rise of Tariq is what's like made this show go off the rails. I would disagree to a certain extent, but I can see why people came to that conclusion. I think this final season, like the writing's just been all over the place. I think they could have just done it in a much better way. Like Tommy just took such a back seat in this final season, I think, and like so much of the focus has been on like Tyreek and Tasha, and it's yeah. In this episode, it's just playing on that the hatred that Tyreek is having for his father, and it's weird though. It's like we're seeing the events of like Ghost's last day take place across like 6 episodes. And of course, with Tyreek here, he's like freaking out. And so is Tasha, because, Ghost, his master plan looks like it was going to be, well, Tyreek's going to admit to his crimes. We're then going to have Tasha, potentially go to jail. She could lose custody of Yaz, and it could be absolutely in the dust. But we also see Tyreek here meet with Elisa Marie. And we then see a bit but we've seen that back in episode 13. Then we've seen the conversation he has with Tommy and Dre, and it's like, I think we spent like the first like 40 minutes of this episode seeing scenes that we had already seen. Then we see Tasha going to Quentin's place. He agrees to take her to Truth. Now we're finally on the night of Ghost's murder. Tariq talking to Tommy about this, and I think as the more this episode went on, I think it was just a bit obvious that Tariq was the one that killed Ghost. Spoiler alert. I kind of always thought it, but I thought, if they're not revealing it, maybe there's going to be like someone else at hand. But no, that's not how it went, because Tariq is what he's did. The master plan for him is that he has hid the gun at Truth in order to do this. But Quentin drops Tash off. She's going to go in and try and kill Ghost potentially. But of course, we know that's not the way it goes down. We also see Tyreek making a phone call to Vincent. So not only, he gives up Tommy to Vincent here. Like, we can't just always sit and pretend that Tyreek is like this great kid that wouldn't, yeah. I honestly feel like Ghost has backed them in their corner. I'm not trying to deny that, right? I do think there is an element of that. But when Tasha figures out in her head that, oh shit, Tyreek said he's going to drop the gun off here, he realises this, or she realises this, and heads up for Tyreek in Truth. Meanwhile, in Truth, we've got Tyreek. He's visited by Kaden, so Kaden makes another surprise return here. Good to see him in the series finale. I'm looking forward to these spin-offs, sequels, and prequels of this show, because hopefully they can make up for this final. I think there's still a lot left on the table. I feel like this, again, you always run the risk with these like whodunit angles. I mean, I've never seen a show drag it out though. This feels very much like Lost. And here, I never thought I'd be making a comparison between Lost and Par, but finally we have the final confrontation between Ghost and Tyreek. So it's not like he just walked up and shot him. We'll see this final scene where Tyreek whips out the gun. Ghost can't quite believe that Tyreek, his son, is actually pulling a gun on him. To be honest, I don't think many of us can really believe what's going on here at this point, but I guess someone has to pull the gun on him. And then, eventually he's like, you know what, you've crossed the line, Ghost. You've lied to me. You said you gave Breeze or Rolla, whoever the hell it was, another chance. Well, I gave you another chance and you still failed me. He's like, son, you pull that trigger, you're going to make a massive mistake. You're going to make a massive mistake. But then Tasha busts through the door, sees what's about to happen. I thought it would be a bit of funny acting here for Tasha's actress. Tyreek then shoots Ghost. He falls off the balcony. Tasha sees him, hits the deck. She's like, Tyreek, what the fuck are you doing? Tyreek's like, I had to kill him. Tasha then leaves. Tyreek's like, I'll take care of the gun. And then this is when he looks down and you see Tommy with Tyreek. With Ghost. And he looks up, he sees Tyreek. So yeah, Tommy knows for sure it was Tyreek that killed Ghost. Tyreek is then like freaking out. He's crying. We hear Ghost's like last breath. Tommy did go to shoot Tyreek. And then Ghost's like, nah, don't do it. So yeah, we see we've seen all these different angles of Ghost dying now, and then as Tyreek's leaving the building, right, he spots Sax. Sax is like dropping his gun over the place. He's clearly drunk. And then we see Tyreek's perspective where he leaves the building, but he notices Sax with Agent Rodriguez. Then Tyreek gets into character. He gets to the building. He starts freaking out. He's like, Dad, my dad's in there, my dad. So obviously he's dead. Tyreek and Tasha then reunite, so to speak, back at the apartment. So yeah, looks like things are going okay for them. And then Sax returns to his job because guess what? Mac has now took over the Eastern District, and Warner is fired. And I really rate it, Warner. I mean, he's alright, his meltdowns can kind of be funny, but we then have the big meeting between the Ghost lawyer, well, not lawyer, but he's the guy that hands out his estates and his money. And it turns out all the money's went to the kids, but Tyreek will not be able to get any of it from the fund until he does 4 years of college, and he passes, which obviously pisses them off. Then outside, they get arrested. We've got Rodriguez questioning Tasha. We've got Sax questioning Tyreek. It looks like Tyreek's finally about to break. He's crying. He's asking for water. But then he confronts Sax. He says, "You were there that night Ghost was killed." And he's like, "So I'm going to say it was Dre and you're going to back me." And Sax just fucking agrees to it. Yo, so what if Sax was there, right? Obviously, Sax was there to kill Ghost. No one's denying that, right? No one is denying that. But surely Sax would have been yeah, but I was there with Rodriguez, to arrest Ghost or fucking whatever. I heard a gunshot, me and Rodriguez were there. If Tyreek's giving this threat out, I'll reveal you were there, Sax is yeah, but he's a fucking federal agent, officer, whatever. He's not even an officer, but you know what he is? He's a district attorney sort of guy. So, I mean, realistically, he could have just said he was there with Rodriguez. But this makes... And then, yeah. So we're going to pin it on Dre now. The murder's on Dre. Sax is then confronted by Rodriguez, and he's like, yeah, you're fucked. Once everyone finds out the guy that killed Ghost is a guy who's supposed to be in federal, custody by your marshals, it looks like it could be over. Then she finds out that Dre's dead. She then pays a visit to Two-Bit. And Two-Bit then tells Rodriguez, if you think a motherfucker like Dre killed Ghost, then you got another thing coming. So yeah, looks like Two-Bit's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. We see Tasha gets a job with Simon Stern, and he gets Tyreek into school, and I'm like, right, with 10 minutes to go here, how is this series going to wrap up? So it looks like Tasha and Tyreek have got away with everything. But then she decides this master plan of trying to pin the murder on Quentin. To me, this just felt rushed. It really did. He gets arrested, and then he's like, you fucking planted that, Tasha. Tell him I was with you that night. And then, the people quickly figure out, Rodriguez, the next morning or whatever, that it was Tasha that, in fact, that killed Ghost. Obviously, it wasn't her, it was Tyreek, but, Quentin basically tells the police everything they need to know about Tasha's whereabouts, and she's the one that went to Truth that night. I dropped her off while I went and got a Red Bull, etc. And it's did she think Quentin was going to take the fall for her? Whatever this guy's name is, Q, Quentin, whatever. I mean, honestly, ridiculous, fucking ridiculous. So Tasha gets arrested. But then we get the ending montage. Pretty sad scene here between Tyreek and Tasha. It's all came at crumbling down. She takes off her hair. I was like, what? That wasn't Tasha's real hair. Was that ignorance for me not knowing that? Tasha's in jail. She's crying. There's a bit of a time skip, I believe. We see Tyreek closes dorm door, and it says class of 2024. And as I'm recording this, it is 27th of December 2023. So I'm not far away from that 2024. And then that's it. That's the final shot. And again, it's almost like the show sacrificed its own ending just to set up all these sequels and prequels. It didn't feel like a definitive ending to a TV show. It did not feel like a series finale here, the way it ended. Then we get a flashback back to 96 with Ghost, Tommy, and Angela. Not really much here. I mean, is this going to set up the prequel with Kanan's prequel? I'm not too sure. So we'll have to wait and see, guys. But that is Power wrapped up. That is your finale. Tyreek's the one that killed Ghost. I'm not that shocked about it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I feel like it tied up everything down, but it didn't feel like a series finale to me. It didn't tie up enough for me. And it's why did we get a pause episode? Why? And in this, there's zero mention of Tate. We don't even see Tate become governor or
Is that going to be in the spin-offs? Like, what are the spin-offs going to be about? Like, I know Power Book 4 is about Tommy, but I'm really intrigued about what the other one's going to be about. Is Tasha going to get it? Or is it going to solely focus on Tariq? I mean, who's left for it to focus on? I don't know. That's what's going to make it entertaining to watch. But until next time, guys, that is it. Power is over. And I've got a feeling Power Book 2 and 4 and 3 are going to be starting very, very soon.